Can you hear all the amazing voices? Can you hear the talent and the enthusiasm
Oh, yeah.
from everyone? Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. We're going to get this game going real quick. Thank you to everyone who is joining us for this evening's game. And thank you for all of those tuning into the Welcome to the Party stream channel with Vibrant, Visible, Victorious. We are going to get into that and what exactly that means, but I'm going to go through this little spiel that I have to go through to make sure everyone knows what we're doing. So, welcome everyone. This is a one-shot that I am going to be running for this fantastic group of folks as part of Welcome to the Party's 3V Vibrant, Visible, Victorious. We are vibrant. We are a wonderful community that has always been a part of the tabletop role-playing game scene, and just we're coming out more out, proud, loud, queer, fantastic, ridiculous, all the fantastic words that describe us. We'll get that fixed in just a second. And also, we are going to be playing in D&D 5e system, running on one shot that I have created myself this time. And it's going to be a little bit more in the spooky end of things. So those who are maybe a little easily, let's say, either freaked out or scared, be mindful of what you're watching. Be careful. Check in with yourselves in case it becomes too weird or too ooh, but I'm sure everything will be fine. This is fine. But before we can get into that and we start the game and we get to know our fantastic players, some of whom are returning from a previous one-shot I've gotten to run for them, some are new, we have to go through the general specifics of this channel, which include thanking our wonderful sponsors. So this includes Tabletop Loot. Find dice for all your gaming needs. Always need dice for this? Go to Tabletop Loot. You'll be set. Also, our wonderful Devin Rude, the Mistress of Maps, the Mapstress, the amazing community supporter of this channel. Thank you so much for all of your help and care. Go follow her. And also, So Nerdwear. It's what the nerds wear. Type !merch in chat and let people know So Nerdwear is the place where you can get awesome WTTP merch at a discount. Use code, all capital letters, welcome to get 10% off your next purchase. And also our Patreon, type !Patreon in chat. Our Patreon not only goes to support the channel, but as it grows, it will act as an incubator, providing funds for amazing artists, writers, and more in the RPG community. So if you want some awesome benefits while supporting some amazing makers and shows like 3V, join us on our amazing Discord. Join us on Patreon. It's the best way to support the channel. And as always, join our amazing Discord if you have the time. We have fantastic people. You can already see all of them around us. And we're about to get to know them just a little bit more in 1 second. But if you want to join the Discord, type !Discord in the chat. And with those little bits out of the way, we're going to get the game started. But before we get right into that, let's introduce all of our players. Let's just have them go one at a time. Everyone just quick description, quick, like, let's say name who you're going to be playing, maybe class and things of that sort. And let's just make it simple, real easy and quick. So let's start with Miriam.
Hi, I am Miriam. My Twitter tag is media_junkie. There is an underscore between media and junkie, and I will be playing Laziz the Bard.
Okay, let's go over to Heliodoro next.
Hi, my name is Elio. I'm going to be playing Christina Belfour. She is a half-elf sea sorcerer.
Okay, Perry.
Hello. My name is Lily, and I will be playing Perry today, who is a water genasi druid.
Love the water themes, can serve you so well. And last but not least, Dragon Gem, Rochelle.
Hi, I'm Rochelle. I'll be playing Elicor, which is just Rochelle backwards. She is a half-elf battlemaster fighter.
Alrighty, with all the introductions out of the way, we can get started with our fantastic game. And so, before anything else starts, I'm going to quickly roll one quick thing to determine who will start and whose fate will begin the story. Alrighty. So, we are going to start with Laziz. Laziz, you find yourself awakening in what appears to be almost like a jail cell. The floor is covered in this just very dark, kind of grimy, dirty, dusty, dark brown brick pattern, just brick, layered over all over the floor. You see in front of you a door of just iron bars and a sort of geometric square pattern just tessellating all across in between the sections of the bars. You could maybe fit your hand through it and to reach around to the lock, but that's about it. You have your equipment near you and you can barely make out there's a little bit of light past the front of this sort of room that you're currently in, but you wake up with no real memory of how you've gotten here. Just brick floor, iron bars, and what appears to be kind of a square lock on the front of this door that opens out into some other room you can't see more of.
Do I have a headache?
Kind of. It's very much almost post drinking headache, but not quite. It's not that bad, but it could have been. You don't really know.
What did I drink? What did I do? I'm gonna see if I can pick the lock or something. Like grab like my dagger or some. Oh, I do have thieves' tools. Yes, I would like to pick the lock in front of me, please.
Okay, so roll me a dexterity check plus your proficiency, and we'll see what happens with that lock.
I am an expert in it. And I
succeed. You discover very quickly that as you are about to fiddle around with your thieves' tools and you're about to all right, I got this, I'm going to focus, just going to pop it open, you push your hand against the door and it opens up without any issue. There was a lock on the door, but it wasn't locked.
I meant to do that. I start sort of sneaking around and trying to find my way out of this place.
As you do that, more and more of this main room is revealed to you. You can see, just because I believe you have dark vision, correct? Do you have dark vision?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so as with having dark vision, you're able to see bits and bits of this room opening up a little bit more. You see that this entire room has a sort of almost octagonal design to it. The whole floor repeats this kind of same dark brown stone brick kind of pattern, repeating on end all throughout it, except now, and with a slight difference from what your room was, there seems to be almost indentations all alongside sections of it, lines of this very faint pink, gray, white light leading to a center point that goes a little bit north of you. And you can see all around you are various cells, very similar to the one that you woke up in. And as you are turning and looking around, just sort of like getting your bearings about the area, you see that there in 3 of these, I'd say actually from where you're at, you're able to see in 2 of these cells are 2 other individuals. I'll say, what's wrong? Is it random? Elicor. At this moment, you find yourself waking up, terrible headache, all of your equipment's still on you, you're in your armor, you have all of your weapons and everything, but you wake up to the same sort of thing that Laziz woke up to. Just waking up in the middle of this room, you don't really know how you got there, and as you're looking up, you see Laziz right in front of you. And
hello?
I would also say, Christina, you as well. Same exact thing. You wake up in this cell. You have no idea how you got here.
I know you. Were we partying last night? What did we get into?
Honestly, I can't remember anything.
Me neither. Last I was having a ball, and now I'm here.
I touch my neck. Looking for any bites?
No bites.
Mm-hmm.
No, nothing. Just you have all your equipment. You're not damaged. You're not bruised. There's no harm that's been done to you whatsoever. You have all your gear. You just have no real sense of what brought you here, how you even managed to get here in the first place. And this room is entirely unfamiliar. These two other people who you're seeing at this moment, they're entirely unfamiliar to you.
And what do they look like?
Wonderful question. This gives us a chance as well. Perry, you at this moment are also waking up in the fourth of these, I think I put it 8 main octagonal cells around this whole sort of main structured room. You are waking up, and if all of you could please take a moment to describe yourself, I'll say let's start with Laziz, then Elicor, then Christina, then Perry. Good?
So
Laziz, describe yourself.
I am very, you can't really tell whether I'm very gender fluid, non-binary. You don't, there's no any gender markers on me. I'm definitely half elf, and I'm wearing these bright eyesore patchwork colors, which is very dead giveaway of Bard. And I look a little mussed up because I've had a bender.
Elicor is very pale, white hair, half elf. You're going to guess probably half moon elf because her skin is that glowy white. And she's very much dressed like Van Helsing or Vampire Hunter D.
Love it. Perry.
Perry is about 5'7", and she has like ombre hair that are all shades of blues and greens, and it's like a cheeky, flippy little bob. And she has, her fashion sense is as if she was an extra from like an 80s cop show. And she has a really big, like gold circle coin on a chain around her neck that like hits her like right in the V of her collared shirt that is unbuttoned, so it's there on display.
Wonderful. And Christina, if you could describe yourself.
Okay, so Chris is, as a half elf, she's kind of tall. I would say she's about 5'9". She's kind of willowy. She has long dark hair. Her clothes seem like very practical, but if you like examine it a little bit closer, you can kind of see the material looks very nice, and like you can see there's a nice sewing pattern. And she also has like a couple of pieces of gold jewelry that kind of let you know that like she has money.
She has money. At this moment, most of your money does not appear to be with you, oddly enough. You have all of your gear, your main adventuring equipment, and the additional items that you chose prior to this game.
She had money.
She had money. She will get back to that money, hopefully very soon. But yeah, you all awaken in these cells, and depending on if Laziz tells you the cells are not locked, you could, or just you happen to go up to them and push them open, you can see.
I will try to push them open.
Yeah, Laziz, you're able to very easily push these doors open. And at this time, if everyone could please roll me a perception check, because this will determine a lot of the main details you're going to pick up first.
That's one heck of a headache.
That was
that is a
Perry
spectrum.
Is not perceptive at all.
Perry is just Perry for you. It's probably like you have the worst headache of everyone. It's just like you, as you were waking up, you kind of clunked your head against the floor one more time, and it's like, oh, everything hurts. Elicor, it's same kind of deal. You didn't quite hit your head, but the armor and everything that you're wearing, while built for flexibility, occasionally some of it is like getting stuck around as you're getting used to this, because you're having that kind of like bed sore feel where you've just woken up, where you're like,
and all I can concentrate on are these people that I don't know.
basically. And I would say...
Can I say that my rations usually had like a, like hair of the dog, because I do this frequently?
I'm going to allow it because that's funny.
I hand everybody some of my rations of like, here, take this, you'll feel better, trust me.
Now,
and I make a face as I have mine.
Now, I'll say for the role that Christina and Lizzie's were able to get, both of you are able to notice to the north of you. You're all able to pick up this weird kind of design to the room. It's octagonal sort of shape and structure, and the brick floor pattern, and even the indentations with this weird sort of pink, gray, white light going through all the little cuts into them. I will say Christina and Lizzie's, you are able to notice in a little bit to the north of you, all of these indentations come into sort of lines that lead up to a door that it's strange. You have to imagine sort of like a double door entering into a ballroom with a variety of almost runic symbols that seem reminiscent of space, of the astral sea. There's flickers of little bits of starlight that are just sort of, imagine laser shows from like a planetarium. So if any of you have ever been to like LA and been to like the observatory, Griffith Observatory, or you've just ever seen like a laser show indoor, like it's having that kind of effect of like, it's just this sort of pulsating bits of like this same strange sort of pink, blue, grayish energy coming off of it. And there's this sort of X design to it with various bits of languages written in each of the 4 squares that make up the full door, and what appear to be little insignias that look like the shape of locks. However, with a 19, Lizzie's, I will say you in the room, in this full room, you're able to notice, you don't see something, but you smell something coming from this room
nasty?
over here. The simplest and most direct way I can put it is it smells like a corpse coming from that direction. And also, as you're noticing, you smell it in another direction over here as well. In 2 directions, you smell what feels like, what smells like something that's rotting.
Smells like butts and dead people in that direction.
And I'd also say for a 19, you're able to see there looks as though in the direction most to your left on the map that I pinged, you're able to see what looks like a body just slumped over. And you're able to see 2 other bodies in the rooms right across from where all of you are at. And the smell of the corpse is coming from one of those 3 rooms. So to be clear, 3 rooms to your northeast, you see 2 what look like humanoid shapes in 2 of them, and you smell like death and decay from one, and then you smell death and decay from a room that's a bit more to your west, like more northwest direction. So
you said there was text in various languages in a certain area?
On the door itself, this main door is right in between where 2 of the rooms are. It's sort of like here's a cell door opening, here's another cell door opening, and right in between it is this massive double door with these astral sea sort of patterns and runic symbols scattered across it, these locks and these various languages on it.
I would like to spend 10 minutes ritual casting comprehend languages.
All right. Well, what are the rest of you doing in the meantime? Because if Laziz takes the time to point it out, you all know this information now.
Yeah, I would.
So those doors where the corpses, are they locked?
No, all of these cell doors are open. Like you get the sense just from pushing through your own and looking at the rest of them, they're all open. Nothing's locked about them. It's very easy to just push it open and look into it.
Can I make an investigation roll to see if I can tell how they were killed without actually entering the room?
I would say investigation to just look over the body. Investigation will work. If you're trying to determine death of the body, that would be more medicine. but you can do that if you like. But it depends. What information are you looking for? Are you looking to just loot the body, or look over it in general and look over the room, or are you interested?
Well, I'm not going to enter
in
the room. So like from the doorway, I'm just trying to look to see if there's obvious like stab wounds.
Okay. Investigation roll on that. Perry, Christina, what are you doing?
I would say Christina would also want to check out the bodies.
Okay. Are you checking out the one to the northeast or the one that's closest to you?
Probably the one that's closest to me.
Okay. If you, I will, or if you have rolled investigation. Okay, I will tell you that in just a second, Christina. Yours is relatively quick and is known to the fact that one of our players was not able to join us today. But as you peer into the room, you see what looks as though relatively freshly dead body of a very squat, small halfling who appears to have very large, rounded, almost mouse-like ears. It seems as though they, hard to tell the state of the body, didn't survive the trip over here. But Elikor, there are no obvious signs with that kind of roll. You can't really tell really anything too significant, but there doesn't appear to have been any traps or anything that killed this corpse. But as you get closer, you are able to make out a little bit more details on the body just from where you're at. You're not going into the room, but you are able to make out a little bit more details.
Correct.
And I will reveal the actual text for this room that I put in. So if all of you can read that, for those of you who can't, it states, for our viewers, it states open stomach corpse, because as you peer through the bars, you're able to see the body of what seems to be the body of an Aarakocra, of an owl Aarakocra, with very like grayed out feathers at the tips. It looks as though there's almost a fungus or something growing out of its stomach, and it looks recently deceased.
Did you kill my other character off?
No.
Sorry, I am playing an Aarakocra in the campaign. An owl Aarakocra. They have the same coloring. Sorry.
But yeah, you're able to peer into that, and let me just double check the appearance. I had this one written down. Where's your appearance, Google Doc? Cooperate with me. No, not that one. Yeah, sooty gray to black feathers. It looks like there's a walking stick right next to him. White spots all across the feathers, and a basic set of traveler's ropes. That's what you see when you peer into that room.
And that text is just where...
That's just to let you know that's what that's basically the contents of the room. It's a room that has a corpse with a very opened up stomach that it looks as though, from what you can tell, there's something inside the stomach.
There's something inside.
It's not alive. It looks maybe like a bag or something. You'd have to double check.
Okay, I enter the room.
Fireball. No, actually, you go in. If you take the time to actually put your hand in, you pull out what looks like, imagine like kind of a small little brown bag, like the way that like fairy dust might be sort of carried around in, or like pixie powder kind of things. And inside of that bag is, if you reach your hand, you feel something unpleasantly squishy and warm. And roll me a nature check.
Ooh.
I'll say that's just high enough. You get the feeling, you've heard about this used in various locations, especially in the Underdark. It's used to quickly calm down any sort of hyperactive fungi or other plant life in the Underdark, often prone to loud screaming or making very, very unpleasant noises when they're startled. It's used as sort of a deterrent. Like, imagine if you have like a very angry yipping dog and you're like, hey boy, you want to calm down a little bit, and like you give him a bone. Think that kind of effect. It's just mulch that it's used in the Underdark for that same kind of effect on local fungi.
So do I think we were drugged with something similar?
I mean, does Elicor think that? I'm not telling you if you were drugged. Does Elicor think that?
Elicor thinks she was drugged. She's a half-elf. She shouldn't have been knocked out by any other means.
Okay, and so Laziz, with your spell, I'll say at about this time, with Elicor taking the time to peer into the corpse of this dead owl Aarakocra, with your spell in effect, it's strange as you're looking at the door. Some of the languages you're able to spot, one bit of it is in Elvish, one bit of it is in Celestial, one appears to be in Undercommon, and one is in a language that you can read but you don't recognize. It's strange. It's a very curious effect to have this spell. And if you wouldn't mind me asking, what is it when Laziz like makes use of sort of bardic magic? What does that look like?
I sort of imagine like a verbal without having to. I mean, yes, if it has a somatic component, there will be the somatic flicks and whatever, but it's sort of, I imagine, kind of like Harry Potter style, sort of you say like a couple of activation words and suddenly it works. It's like, ooh, I picked this spell up. So I'm just sort of sitting there going through the book and being like, okay, yes, so it's comprendo linguisto. No, I didn't get that right. And I spent 10 minutes trying to get the correct combination.
Canon confirmed. All ritual spells are just missing the correct words to actually use the spell correctly for 10 minutes. This is canon now. But yeah, it's strange. It's the best description I can give you is it's otherworldly, this language. It doesn't feel humanoid in a way, and it doesn't even feel monstrous. It feels like something ancient and something from far beyond the realms. But you are able to read even more carefully, and I'd say because you all lucked out and you had the bard be the one to look at the languages. You recognize this as music notation as well, that these are not just words, they are lyrics to songs, and that these are all written in a sort of musical notation particular to each of the languages' different cultural stylings.
Can I try to play the ancient unknown language one, like pull out my cittern and start strumming it?
Yes. Before we get into that, just double checking, Perry, Christina, what are you doing while this is happening? Because there are still 2 other rooms that you haven't looked at, as far as you know.
True.
Yeah. I think Perry would probably check out one of the other rooms that no one went into.
Okay, and Christina, what were you interested in doing?
Yeah, I was gonna say since Chris checked out one and didn't really find anything, she'd also go. Wait, we had 2 more rooms left unexplored, right?
There's 2 more rooms. So there is 3 rooms across from you that didn't have someone already in them that was either already dead or present. One of them, Elicor went into and found the open stomach corpse. And there are 2 other ones that Laziz with the high perception check noticed that there's similar humanoid bodies inside of them. So which room would you like to go to? There's a left room and a right room.
And they smell like butts and dead people.
Only the open stomach corpse room does. Which, as a phrase for the record, is very. Please don't make me say that multiple times because it is. But there are 2 rooms, so between the 2 of you, left or right, does someone pick one room?
Right.
Okay, so
I'll go left.
Okay, so Christina, so you're going right. So I will reveal that room's text to you now as you also find another Aarakocra body inside this room. Except rather than being partially decayed, this one looks as though you can kind of sort of tell what it looked like previously, only because there's some aspects of feathers as these kind of dark brown shades of brown feathers, what may have been eyes with green eyes with black pupils to them, and there's a layer of sand covering it. But part of the reason it's kind of hard to tell is the body is entirely desiccated. It looks as though someone just went and sucked all the moisture out of the body.
Fun.
Harry, your room, I will also reveal to the group. You are perhaps the luckiest in a way.
Okay.
You just see another body, but this one has no skin, no muscles, no tissue whatsoever. It just appears to have a similar Aarakocra shape, but is entirely also, because skeleton and not reanimated, dead. And for both of you, you are able to see there does appear to be a pack in the room that Christina is in. And Perry, yours also seems to have a pack tucked along the wall as well. If you investigate a little bit further, you're able to acquire an item, each of you.
I'm going to check out the pack.
All right. Perry, so you had the bird skeleton that was, yeah, you have the harpy. Yeah, just remembering where I set each item. Perry, you are able to find strapped alongside the back of this, in this pack, a horn that it's strange. It looks almost bird-like in the ends of its design. It looks very long, kind of thin, and the end of it ends in talons, but there's sort of holes for fingerings and such to put in. And if you roll a nature check, I could give you more information on it. And you are able to spot it as well that there appears to be runes alongside this as well. So if you roll either nature or arcana, you can get more information depending on what you want to know.
Okay. She wants to know how to read the runes that are along it.
Okay.
So that's arcana.
Yeah, that would be arcana. Christina, you find a water skin. I'll get to yours in a minute. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll do it. That'll do it. You can't quite read fully the entirety of the language, but you do have enough training in various druidic magics related to enchantments that this appears to have runes that are typically used to impart spells related to the enchantment school. And the actual design, I'll say for that one, I'll give you the nature check information as well, because that was a high check. The information you know is this has some sort of enchantment when played related to enchantment. And this design of what it's made of, it looks like it's been made almost like out of a bird's claw, but a very big humanoid-like bird.
Okay.
So
cool.
That's where you're at in terms of the information.
Okay.
Christina, you find a water skin with similar kinds of runic designs and patterns to it. If you roll an Arcana check, I will tell you how much information you're able to get out of this particular item. But it appears to be relatively normal, just standard kind of water skin. It looks like it has some sort of fur trimming along the side of it, like the core of it was made out of sort of the stomach lining of an animal.
These are foul deeds.
It's something. It's magical. That's about all I can tell you with a 10, sadly. Not too much. You know this has some sort of enchantment based on the symbols on it. Like you have enough training from your own sorcery magic and such that it has some sort of enchantment on it, but you don't know what it is. And Laziz, you were trying to play tunes earlier, correct? To make sure I'm getting back to you.
Yes.
Which one are you trying to play first?
The
you had
ancient
Celestial
language.
Okay. As you play the tunes, you hear all around you, all of you hear this. You hear this deep sort of almost like there's a chorus of very deep toned voices all around you singing and replicating the notes that you're singing and playing. And it's very beautiful, but very much like it's not divine, it's not elven, it's not undercommon, it's not really any origin you know of. Something about this is otherworldly. And then as you finish playing the tune, you hear a and you see and look over at one of the locks on the door are open.
I start going down the different notations, like the celestial, one by one, when I see that happen.
What are you doing?
I don't know. It seems like when I play those are musical notation and lyrics. And when I played that one and I point to the ancient one, that happened. So maybe this is our ticket out of here.
Or maybe it's going to release something that shouldn't be released?
As you're interrupting Lizzie Delacour, you hear once again, another lock opens.
Can you undo what you just did?
I repeat what I'm doing in the ancient language to see if it does anything.
Do you do any of the other languages besides just the language? Because you played the Celestial. Do you do either the Draconic or the I think I said there's Elven and Undercommon that are left. Do you do either of those as well?
No, I'm gonna see if repeating something locks it again. So I will do the since I last played the Celestial, I'll do the Celestial again.
Roll me a performance check real quick.
Ooh, I am an expert.
Yeah, that's kind of the numbers I was expecting for a bard on performance. This is just like, hey, rogue, would you like to steal something? Hey, fighter, would you like to kick ass at everything?
I am an expert in performance and thieves' tools.
As you try and do the ancient language, nothing happens to the original lock. But the performance, how well you did the original ones, the voices are sticking around and they're growing louder.
I don't think I can unring this bell.
Play it backwards, maybe?
I play backwards.
You summon Led Zeppelin. No. No, nothing happens. It seems as though these lock and Elicor, if you'd like to take a look at the locks themselves at the door, you're more than welcome to. Christina, Perry, you can come back if you would like to. You can come back to this main area, but when you look through, both of you, some of those rooms, you are able to see that there's pathways that seem to head out around them into more of the area. So you could also explore. It's up to you. But you are all hearing these voices and hearing the performance Lizzie's is doing right now.
Where do the voices seem to be coming from?
Everywhere. It's ever present. Like, it's not like it's just, I hear it coming from over there. It's like, imagine being in a cave and that has that echoing effect where you feel it like it's everywhere. It's not stopping. So long as Lizzie is playing. Once Lizzie stops playing, it stops.
When I apprenticed for this one wizard, I was their cook for a while. They always said that if you start something, you should finish it, because having unfinished casted things is a bad thing. Always. So maybe I should just finish these last two things here.
I go to the door where the first lock unlocked, and can I peek inside?
Yeah. Do you touch the door?
Does it have a window and bars, or?
It's just, imagine a basic, just imagine an old school style key lock. You can see you actually need to put a proper key into it. You just hear clicks whenever the music was being played. It's just bigger. It's more like this size. So it looks kind of absurd in some ways. It's kind of a gigantic key you might need. But once the music is played, you heard something was unlocked. And if you peer into it, you
don't see
nothing. It looks like you're staring off into space.
I do not touch it. And I just stand there ready in case something comes out of it while she's playing these other two songs. Okay.
Before I get into Lizzie's, Christina, Perry, what are you doing right now? Because you investigated the rooms and you found those two items. Are you looking more in the rooms? Are you coming back to the main area? What are you doing?
I'm going to come back into the main area, but I'm going to take the item with me and slip it in my pack.
Okay. Christina, what are you doing?
Christina wants to see if there might be anything else in this room before she's also going to take the item and head back out to the main area.
Okay, roll me an investigation check. This will determine what you're able to find as you're rooting around the area.
Okay.
No.
So I will reveal the entirety of the map that you are able to go through. I'll say with that low a check, you're only able to find what appears to be one vial scattered among some rags in one of these corner rooms. It looks like it's just filled with a red substance, and if you pop it open and smell it, you recognize it as a standard potion of healing.
Nice.
But Laziz, are you continuing to play?
Yeah, I will do the so I've done the ancient language, the celestial. I will do the elven, then the undercommon.
As you finish playing through each of those, Elikor, because you're the closest to it, you hear
You're fine.
Sure, it's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. Everything's fine. You're not dead yet. Don't worry. Yet. Let me see which one. Here it is. Had to pull up her description. Once you finish performing, you hear from coming behind you. Wonderful. Most people take forever to go through that. They never actually bother to try and look at the languages. They try and blitz their way through the door. You all seem a lot smarter than I gave you credit for. And I'll say Elikor, Laziz, and Perry, Christina, you're able to find out a little bit a minute or so after they see this person, but you turn around and you're able to see what appears to be a young girl. She has long, flowing hair, a very happy, almost mischievous kind of expression on her face. And she has robes with these very wide open sleeves. If any of you have ever watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, imagine kind of like the Toph Beifong's style kind of robes. Just very common, like these huge open wide sleeves. And it looks like she's more of a performer based on the overall design of her outfit. But there are two elements to her overall appearance that seem a tad strange to all of you. Her eyes are instead of with pupils and full, they're this bright, shimmering orbs of white light and energy, with slight pinkish blue and gray energy coming out of them. And her hair is just just full of these just flakes of what looks like crystals in them. Wonderful to have all of you have made it through this. I should have more faith in all of you.
Are you responsible for us being here?
To an extent, she's responsible, which in a way means I'm responsible, but we're kind of separate, kind of not. It's a little weird. It's a little hard to explain, but we really do need to keep things going along. And you seem to be going at quite a wonderful pace. And I need you to meet my uncle now. He'll probably explain a little bit more of this, but we need to get going.
What?
Will you tell us your name or any information that will make us want to follow you?
Oh, you make it sound like you have a choice in the matter. But where are my manners? My name is Selesnine. It's a pleasure to meet all of you. And she snaps her fingers, and as she does so, the doors start opening up wider and wider, and you just see this sort of bright pink, blue, and blue, gray, white energy just start erupting from it and overtake all of you. Your senses are overwhelmed. Your sight is entirely gone for a second. And I'm going to move you all to your next map, because as this happens, you all feel, for those of you who are who were present for my previous one shot, you feel a familiar feeling of what feels like a hook around like the back of you, like if you're wearing jeans, like a hook that like yanks you up, and you have a port key kind of transportation effect where you all land just ass over tea kettle on the side of a beach.
Wait, I still had more questions.
You all land on the side of a magnificent lake. Also, before I get into that description, Mercs of Mischief is rating us with a party of 7. Thank you so much, Mercs of Mischief. Thank you for being here. But as you land, you look around. It's a beautiful, wide open lake. Clear, full moon up in the sky, no clouds, the light falling upon the lake, waves just gently lapping against the edge of the beach or along this just sort of slowly darkening and moistened sand mixed with stone just all along the beach. And you find yourselves in a new location. No?
Turn to Elicor and I say, pinch me.
I pinch her.
Does anything happen?
Nope. You could try a punch.
Can I make some type of check to see if I know what Selesnya is, being that I'm a monster hunter?
I would say yes. Roll me. This is difficult. It's not quite nature. I'm going to say history, but I'll give it to you with advantage.
Nice.
Was not expecting that, and the DC was quite high for that.
Nice.
Your first thought as you're thinking this over, this is strange. Above all else, this is strange, and why am I here? The first two thoughts that come to mind. Like, what am I doing here? And you're thinking it over, it's like, is she a ghost? Is she like a specter of some kind? It sounds like from her phrasing of like, she's me, but she's not me. That could fit, but something about the extent of her powers seems too strong for that to be the case. And you have in the back of your mind, you don't quite know where you picked up this word, but with traveling around and basically doing monster hunting and such, you faintly remember a word, a name, Shard Mind. I'm going to put that in the chat so everyone can see it. Shard Mind. You don't quite know what it means or what the extent of these kinds of beings' powers is. I'd say because that's not particularly your area of expertise. The far realms and sort of outer planes, not quite the purview of a monster hunter, but you know this is a very ancient, this appears to have some connection to a very ancient being and something with quite a lot of, if not planar, at least psionic power. But as you arrive in this new location, I would like everyone to roll me a perception check to get a better understanding of your surroundings.
Damn, I'm on a roll with perception.
You're on
tonight.
a roll with this person. You see everything.
Well, this is
And
much
yet
better than her first time.
And yet I got roofied here.
Yes. Okay. You have all the luck, and I have none of the luck.
Yeah. Christina, you and Perry appear to have traded places in how you landed in the area where you have hit your head more directly first. I will say the three of you who rolled above a 10, I'm so sorry, Christina, this is a really bad night of rolls, but the three of you who rolled above a 10, you are able to get a basic view. This is very wide, vast open lake, but you see around this entire area, if you turn behind you to look around to see if there's any way to escape the area, the whole area is lined with this very tall rock wall just going all around, but you're able to see to the west, to the north, and to the east, there appear to be three openings in the wall to caves. And I'll say for Elikor and Laziz, because you rolled so high, you are able to see up in the far north, all the way across the lake. You can't quite make out what it is exactly, but you see something massive, bright and shining. And it seems to have almost a spectrum of colors just flowing every now and then. It seems like it's weird. It doesn't make sense with the way like the landscape is. It almost seems like the colors are sort of going up and then going down, going up and then going down. It's almost like something's breathing.
Either that is a celestial body that is a living creature, or that's some big un over there. I have an idea. I'm not sure it's a good idea, but I have an idea. This thing here, and I pat my cittern, gives me the ability to fly. Or anyone else if you want to fly instead of me. We could give that a go and see what that is.
But
Anyone
just
wanna
one
take a
person can go?
ride? Yeah, like the wizard spell. I was graced by that. Remember that place where I was a cook for that wizard?
Oh, right.
Gave me this as a going away present. So, it's got a little oomph to it. And I just sort of strum a little and start singing about flying, but I don't cast the spell. I'm just sort of doing everything but the final incantation to just be like, fly, fly, fly away into the moon and the skies and the sun. And I, the player, am very bad at making up things and songs.
No worries. But yeah.
Are there footprints going to any of the caves in particular?
No. There just looks like there's just the beach lining going all around this massive lake. And then the 3 openings from what you can see, and that shining, weird breathing sort of effect up north. And you also see sort of a mountain range behind, way off in the distance, if you were to head in a northern direction. So what do you all do?
Yeah, no. Having a bender can really take its toll. I know where you've been, and I pat Christina's back. So, do we want to fly?
I'd rather stay on the ground.
Me too.
That might be the best option.
So,
Thank you
fly?
for the offer.
How far away is it?
It's maybe 10, 15 minutes walk. Not too far.
Okay.
And we don't see any corpses here.
Nope, no corpses. I promise this is a corpse-free area currently.
Currently.
So this will give 10 minutes of flying.
Is Laziz choosing to go off on their own?
No, not yet. I don't know where we are, and I don't know what we're coming up against. I am concerned, and I don't quite want to use all my spells yet.
True D&D player, hoarding all spell slots until the final moment.
Fine, I will fly.
You don't have to. That's not me trying to egg you on to use your spell slots. That's just me just saying,
go off by yourself.
Oh no, I'm not gonna.
Please do not go off by yourself.
Yeah. No, I wasn't gonna go off by myself. If I was gonna cast on someone, it would be so that they could sort of, if it's height related rather than distance related.
So I walk over to the edge of the lake.
Okay.
Is the water clear? Can I see the bottom?
No, you could go swimming in it. It looks deep enough to hold you. If you wanted to go swimming, you could.
Yeah, I don't trust that.
Elicor is the definition of I am already done with everything. I was done when I arrived, and I am even more done as time passes.
Are there rocks, small little rocks around?
Yeah, it just looks like it's very stony, kind of like it's like a ring of stones that's mixing in with the sand and such. Just like little pebbles all around.
I grab a pebble and try skipping it off the water just to see like if anything comes for it.
Nothing
then-
happens.
Nope.
And then I take, after like maybe a couple of seconds, I take another pebble and I just chuck it right into the water. Do I see it go down?
Yeah, you see it go down. You
How
don't
far
see
does-
any. If what you're asking is, do you see like a tentacle or like a corpse hand emerge and
Oh,
try and
no.
grab it? Nope.
Do I see the bottom? Like, can I see it fall and hit bottom?
No, it still seems deep. It looks like the lake is deep enough that you could probably swim and go down for quite a while, but nothing. You just see as far as you know for this area, you see the lake that seems pretty deep, the 3 cave entrances, and that shiny phenomena in the north.
So, who's the strongest here?
Why?
What is your idea?
I could make them fly and they can carry all of us across.
Across the lake?
Yeah, I did say it was a
Okay.
good idea.
Or
We could
Perry
just walk.
Perry could cast water walk, and up to 10 creatures can walk across any liquid surface for up to 1 hour.
Or that.
Hi, Water Genasi.
Hey, the druid who is water focused in your group may be helpful in this scenario. Just a thought.
Laziz is still in the hangover fog.
Right.
Hey, so are you going through with casting that spell is what I'm asking.
I'm going to
now.
do that, yes.
Okay, as you do that, what does it look like when Perry goes through sort of like casting the magic? Is it just sort of something that comes from the necklace? Is it like energy out of the ground? What's it sort of look like?
Yeah, so for this one, I think the necklace itself kind of shimmers and looks less solid. And then it kind of swirls around and around, and then it's done. And everybody should still feel the same, but you'll be able to walk across the water.
Okay.
Like a cat, I very tentatively start kind of batting the water, then stepping on it, then another foot, then another foot.
You're able to go across it just fine, but which direction are you heading? That's sort of the key question now, because as far as you can tell, there are 3 possible directions that you can head now.
I look at Elicor.
Straight towards the glowy. Let's do it.
All
Get
right,
this over with.
let's go, Glowy.
Okay.
Maybe it's her uncle. She said we were going to meet her uncle next and he'd have answers. So
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's
As
a glowy ball of gas?
So you're able to go forward. It's about 10, 15 minutes walking. It's quite peaceful. It's very tranquil. You just hear the sounds of the waves very lightly lapping along the tops of the lake. You don't hear any other creatures. And as you move closer to this, I'll put you at about halfway across the map for each of you. And I'll say you're staying relatively close because I imagine none of you really want to be separated. This could be a poor assumption on my part, but I'm assuming you don't want to be left on your own.
no, we're staying
Not
together.
particularly.
Mhm.
In this together.
I would like all of you to make a perception check to see if you can make out more details about this thing you're seeing all across.
Elicor's on high alert now.
We're just like, I see into the realms. Okay, that's everyone but Christina.
Yes, finally.
Okay. Now I would like everyone to make a dexterity check.
Uh-oh.
I guess I also get my jack of all trades to it.
Yes.
Dexterity saving throw, right?
Not dexterity saving throw, just a dexterity
that.
check. Just dexterity.
Okay.
Wow, Elicor is very dexterous.
Okay, Elicor, you're good. You're good on that. Yeah, Lizzie's, you're the only one we're waiting on. Dexterity check.
Yeah, so it did add it. No, did it add it? Yeah, it did add it because it did. Yeah,
Okay.
so that's.
So Elicor, you will get advantage on your saving throw. Because as you move across the lake, you all are able to determine right before it hits you that this full-on spectrum of colors and this weird phenomenon belongs to a long body of a dragon and composed entirely of crystal shards of white that every now and then change to have a sort of the sort of like white to full prismatic spray kind of effect. I promise you it's not casting prismatic spray, it is just a prismatic spray kind of color effect. And you see what seems to be a very old dragon as well, likely an ancient dragon with a long grizzled beard of crystal shards that is flying towards all of you and opens its mouth and lets out a breath of bright spectrum colored light towards all of you. I need a dexterity saving throw from everyone. Elicor, because you spotted it in time, you have advantage.
Why?
Okay. I'm afraid none of you pass.
Oh,
Wow.
Wow.
The DC was 24.
This was
Okay.
a good game.
You are all taking
Nice knowing you.
30, you are all taking 36 points of bludgeoning damage.
What? Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I'm dead.
Holy.
You're not dead, you're unconscious.
Yeah.
I'm still up.
I'm still up.
me too.
So just so
Oh,
we're
wait,
aware.
hold on. I forgot. I have the Stone of Good Luck, which I think
So that'll add one more to it.
to saving throws.
Sadly, it'll only boost it by one, so it'll still be a 9. You need a 24 to make it. Although you do have lucky if you wanted to spend that right now. So you could re-roll that.
Yeah, I'll go for it. At this point. Okay. Okay.
So if you wanted to click the dexterity save again.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, with that opening attack, that's going to be, yeah, no, even with a 20, still don't make it. I pre-rolled the dragon's initiative. It critted on its initiative. Elicor is just like, I'm so done. I'm so done with everything right now. But yeah, if everyone could just go to their sheets and click on initiative, that'll tell you where you're at in the total. Okay, so Elicor right now. What is with your rolls today, Christina? This is so bad.
Oh my goodness.
That's not fair. Like, it's just not fair whatsoever. And I don't think Perry is doing much better either.
No, she is not.
It's like, it's bad times. We're leaving. This is bad.
Oh, I forgot
We could just turn around and go home.
Don't worry.
I forgot to click my name the first time, so it's not showing up.
Don't worry. I'm adding it in right now. It's finicky when it happens. But yeah, we'll put it in order.
Click on your token and then roll initiative is how I've seen it all happen.
But yeah, after that opening attack, I'll say the dragon is about right here. Elicor, what are you doing?
I'm gonna pull out my longbow and shoot it.
Okay, make your attacks. That does not hit it.
Of course not.
You have 2 attacks. Don't forget.
I'll go ahead and try to shoot it again.
Okay, that does manage to pierce its armor. Roll your damage.
Yep.
Just click the longbow thing underneath it, and that'll roll your damage. Okay, so that's 10 piercing damage. Okay.
And then I'm going to back up.
Going to back away from the dragon. Okay, let me just write that down. 487 to 477. Okay. Move yourself wherever you would like to back up to. Or wait, are you within its attack range? Let me double check. Ah, yes, it has a range of 15 feet with its bite.
Oh, that's fine.
You would like
can
to
make its attack of opportunity.
Okay.
I'm still moving.
I am taking the correct approach of noping my way out of here. Okay, so it rolled a 15 plus 17 to hit, so that's a 32 to hit.
Okay, I guess I'm not moving.
Are you down? Because you're taking 21 points of bludgeoning damage for this.
21?
Piercing damage. 21.
I'm good. Yeah.
Okay, your turn is done.
Yes.
Regrettably, my turn is done. The dragon is sort of just flying over the air, and it just spreads its wings out, and it just does this like just deep, just like
it's not a spell, is it?
No, it's just roaring. It's more showboating at this point more than anything else. It's not actually, it doesn't make an attack. It's gonna let its turn pass. All it's going to say to all of you is, "Do you fear
me?" Nope.
Regrettable. I'm imagining that's actually Elicor, like just taking a drink from the water skin. I'm pretty bruised. I'm pretty hurt. Fuck you, dragon. Fuck you, dragon. So yeah. Lizzie's, you're up.
With my cittern out, I'm going to play and be like, "Hey, dragon fellow, you forgot your stove at home. You should go check on it." And I cast Suggestion. And because I'm using my cittern, rolls with disadvantage as it is a charm effect. So that's a wisdom save 15 with disadvantage.
With disadvantage, it rolls an 8 plus 9, so it has 17.
That's a success.
I thought it would be.
And as I do that, I start walking backwards because some already took their reaction.
Okay. For those of you who are choosing to move back, feel free to move yourself on the board. Your tokens are already on the board. Move yourself however much you're able to. But yeah, if that's all you're going to do with your turn, we can move it over to Perry.
Okay.
Are these 5-foot squares?
They're 5-foot squares. Yeah, Perry.
So Perry is going to cast Ice Knife at this dragon. And she's going to cast it at level 3 because, man, I need those extra dice.
Okay. Ice Knife.
And this is like she conjures, like it looks like an icicle, but it's like a little bit longer than a butcher knife, and she hurls it toward the dragon.
Okay. Let's see. All right. So roll with the attack on the ice knife. I believe it's either in your sheet or just roll a d20 in chat in order to see if it hits.
Okay. Oh, that's so bad.
Yeah, no, because I think your modifier is like +7 or +8. No,
oh, that's right. I didn't put my modifier in.
But even with your modifier, this dragon's armor class is 22.
Oh, okay.
I'm so sorry, Elcor. Like the face
that was
is
a miss.
But
sorry.
It failed its dexterity saving throw for the additional cold damage. It will use a legendary resistance to automatically succeed.
Of course it will.
Sure.
So,
I'm going to move backwards.
Okay.
2. Like that.
Okay. And it is now Christina's turn. But Christina, you got knocked out by the breath damage, correct?
Yep.
I need you to
I should
roll.
probably heal you.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Sorry.
Everyone forgot about the
I was
sorcerer.
trying to showboat. Harry was trying to showboat.
And then immediately remember somebody dying over there. Perry, I need you to roll me a d20 in chat.
Oh, you're up with 1.
Nice.
Yeah, you're up at 1, but that's, I believe that's at the beginning of your turn. It's just to speed things along. That's at the beginning of your turn, so you can choose to do something with whatever spells or whatever actions you would like to take.
Cool. I'm going to use half my speed to go ahead and stand up. I think I still have to do that. And I'm going to... I'm going to go ahead and cast fire. Well, actually, no. I'm going to say that I'm going to like tell everyone else, I'm going to call like, hey, I think we should retreat. And I'm going to try and like move back away from this thing.
Okay.
I'm going to say
Tried
like,
that, didn't work.
you hear this coming from Elcor, who just has sections of her armor have just been dented in by the massive crystal shard teeth of the dragon.
Oh boy. Okay. Well,
this is fine. Everything's fine.
Okay.
It's okay.
I'm going to cast Watery Defense on myself then.
Okay.
So, what do I do?
I believe with the way that your class works, that's technically a reaction to an attack. So that would be when something hits you, you're able to activate it. Yeah, no, it's one of those weird things. Some of the spells are and abilities are based on just like in reaction to something. So if you have a spell you want to do, you can choose that. Watery defense would be more trying to react to the damage the dragon is dealing to you. But
okay.
if you are just honestly just trying to retreat, you could also take the dash action and just run more, because based off of Elikor taking the dragon mouth on the shoulder,
That's what I'm here for.
Well, I already used up half my speed getting up, so she's not going to try to move. I'm just going to stay where I am, and I'm going to just cast Firebolt at this thing.
okay. Fortunately, an 18 does not hit.
Damn.
This thing is hard to hit.
It is an armor class of 22.
Yes.
Jesus.
It
Okay.
is a dragon.
Freaking dragon.
That.
I would like to emphasize again, it is a dragon. And
Yes.
from what you can tell based off of the beard of crystal shards, it is an ancient dragon, a very old dragon. So far stronger.
Just checking. So we're standing on top of the water.
You're still fine on the water. I double checked water breathing. It is not a concentration spell.
Right.
Or water walking. So thankfully you are basically, whenever you get hit, it's weird. It's like your body tries to like submerge in the water, and then it
just bounces you back up. Yeah.
Like
What is
corks.
the dragon doing? Is the dragon like flying, or is it also standing on
The
top
dragon's
of the
just sort of like just flying. It's just in place. But now that you're asking that, would you mind rolling me an insight check?
Sure. Yes, finally.
Comes in at a good moment, because Christina, you're able to see while this dragon is boasting and displaying this it's trying to put on this very impressive display, you can see at the edges of its mouth, there's very slight, almost happy smile emerging. And it almost, like from the way its body is moving, it almost looks like it's trying very hard not to laugh, like it's holding in a laugh.
This dragon's playing around with
What
us.
do you find so funny?
I find nothing. Oh God, that voice is so hard to do. This is the dragon literally talking, by the way. That's not me saying that. That's the dragon. He's like, ugh, God. Ugh. I find you all very humorous, and I haven't gotten a chance to do this in ages. That's the most the dragon can say on your turn, and that'll probably be the end of your turn, but Elikor, it is now your turn.
Cool.
But you have all heard this dragon just say, like,
Are you Celestia's uncle? Supposedly you have some splaining to do.
well, yes, I am.
Why did you attack us then?
I have to entertain myself. I only ever get to see someone every 6,000 years.
I
have to find
wonder
some
why if the
entertainment.
first thing you do is attack them.
I wasn't going to kill you. I was just trying to entertain myself.
Could have fooled me.
Who's gonna pay for these HPs?
Christina was unconscious.
You see him extend his wings out, and you feel a rush of healing energy go to all of you. You are back at max health. Because he cast a
Well, I suppose that's
ninth
something.
level mass heal.
She's still like grumbling under her breath, but she's like,
I got knocked the fuck out for no reason other than this dragon. This dragon just being a jerk.
being
And
unconscious is fine.
also, it seems as though after he's done this, you see the dragon literally, if you could imagine a dragon on its back on all fours, like rolling with laughter, like imagine Raffle, but with a giant ancient dragon that's about 35 feet long. That's what he's doing right now.
So how do we get to the next area?
You have to wait like 10-15 minutes while he finishes laughing, because he's having a really big laugh about this.
I mean, I know I'm a riot, but really, this is getting a little insulting at this point.
Oh, it's insulting for you. It's humorous to me. He's flapping his wings with a lot more laughter.
Maybe we could continue with our mission now that you've had your, comedic moment.
This is a really weird mission where we have to escape our own abduction.
Also, I will say that
I don't quite understand what my niece is up to. She seems as though she's longing for company again, and I tried telling her it's a bad idea, but she always tries to pull in wayward adventurers to be her friends. Poor dear is lonely.
Yes, I can actually see where she got her sense of humor from.
Touche. And he just gives like a very, it's not like a curtsy kind of nod, but you have to imagine 35-foot dragon is just sort of like, okay, that was a good shot. That was a good shot at me. I deserve that.
Also, you could really use a toothbrush.
Oh, my apologies. See him just quickly fly over to what is now appeared to be a tree near the edge of the lake. He lifts up the tree, cleans out his teeth, and he's like, better?
It's fantastic.
Your goal, so that we can be clear. Moon elf. And he sort of just it's kind of comical in some ways that like he pulls the very tiny longbow arrows in comparison to his claws out of his side. Very good shot. You should keep at that.
Thanks.
Hands them to you. They're perfectly fine. And you see his wounds immediately healed up. They didn't really seem to do that much damage to him.
Of course not.
Christina's gonna lean over to Elicor because they're closest to her, and she's gonna be like, he's so extra.
Right?
I have a passive perception of 22. I heard that.
I feel like this is a very humbling moment for Perry.
It's like Perry will learn from this. Perry will remember this. It's a telltale moment for Perry. It's just Perry will remember this.
I still think I'm in some really weird dream and I'll wake up at some point.
You will hopefully awaken. I trust my niece will not be that cruel to you, but she longs to remember what she has lost, and she longs to have the company of others.
Weird way of getting friends.
Could have just invited us for tea. Why go through all this trouble?
The Shard Mind aren't very keen on understanding what human traditions are. And frankly, I'm not keen on human traditions either. All of you are quite tiny and quite small. Your tea would probably be insufficient for me in any case.
You've got a lake.
I don't drink the lake.
Well, that's where fishes pee and poop.
The bard knows what they're talking about.
You could have a filtration system or something.
The druid also knows what they're talking about. But in any case, you may go through any one of these exits. They will lead you to a memory of Selesnine. Help who is there, if possible, and if you choose to continue trusting anyone else here, or even trusting me and my information, and Selesnine will likely free you soon. She longs to see and remember what adventuring was like, and she hopes for adventurers who will indulge her for a bit. I myself am not really what I was. I am but a memory of what she remembers from her uncle. I apologize once again, as amusing as this was for me, and he's still like, the entire time he's like keeping a claw to his gut and trying to keep from like heaving over with laughter. Like, my apologies for being so rude, but I do have to entertain myself, and this only comes every so often.
Well, if she doesn't release us, we're coming back and hanging out with you.
You could make you some dummies from that tree, and then you can entertain yourself plenty.
I like this bard.
How about let's just not talk about being trapped here forever? I would prefer that. Rude.
The voice of reason suddenly emerges. It's like, let's not assume we'll be stuck here.
Well, I'm just pinching myself wherever I can every couple of minutes, being like, wake up.
I
I
mean,
wish I
I'm
could see
sure
it.
it's a lovely place, but it's just not our place.
And it's just kind of weird how we all got randomly transported here by someone we don't know to be like, whatever. Like,
Such a beautiful.
that's kind of weird. That's kind of weird. That's not how you make friends.
That's how she was raised to an extent. She never did get very many chances to actually see people beyond her family, and then by extension, she never quite made friends. She was a very lonely being, and the shard mine with her, well, that is her. It's strange. She's quite lonely, and I wish I could have done more for her while I was alive. But nevertheless, just carry on. You may, and he stretches out his very long, broad wings, a brilliant display of various rainbow-like colors. So very much he's the very queer dragon in this moment, just spreads out his wings. Choose which way you would like. And all of a sudden you feel your senses taken. You feel as though your bodies are transported just in almost astral projection-like form to each of the cave entrances just for a moment. And you are able to determine the following details. One entrance feels as though it has a wind of sand blowing through it. One smells quite almost mildew-like smell, like fungi, and almost this smell of just life growing everywhere, just vegetation, just unpleasant things all around. And one smells oddly like potatoes. It's very curious. It's in a stark contrast between the other two. Choose your
I choose
answer.
potatoes anytime. Potatoes B. Also, I feel like this is somehow something to do with the Aarakocras, and I don't know if I want to be fungied or dehydrated.
Speaking of that, I found this in the stomach of the corpse that I went and investigated. And she would hand over the bag of stuff that she found. It's used in the Underdark to like calm funguses and plants.
I trust if she's given you anything to find within where she has transported you, it will be of some use wherever you go. But choose your location, and I will fly you over there myself. Oh, and as for you, dear druid, and waves, he sort of, it's strange to see a dragon almost wave their hand with a giant massive claw and wing. You recovered the spell slot if you did use a spell slot for water breathing and ice knife, they're recovered.
Thank you so much. I like you.
Oh, I like you. You seem delightful. He bends down and he's just looking at you. It's kind of alarming with a giant dragon face, but he's just like, you seem wonderful.
Thank you.
Outside of the initial encounter, he just seems like a very almost like gentlemanly kind of like old dragon. You know, like if he had the capacity for like a pot of tea right now, he'd probably be doing that gesture of like dipping the tea bag in.
Okay, group huddle on where we're gonna go.
Yep. My vote is for potatoes because nothing wrong has ever happened with potatoes. Plus, you get vodka.
I have no preference.
We know that the herbs that Elacor has could possibly help us when we go to the fungi side. And I have this horn, I guess it is. It looks like it could possibly be some sort of musical instrument. Laziz, you might know more about this.
Ooh,
and I'm going to hand that to you.
The horn? Like,
yeah, I would say roll an Arcana check, but because this is related to musical instruments and more your area expertise, roll it at advantage.
Wow, really?
The fuck, roll 20? What is...
Roll 20 is gonna kill us.
Yeah. Because I feel bad, I'm giving you that one because that's just mean. Come on, that's like a no. You know, it has something to do. You know about the same information that Perry does. That it has to do with enchantments, and based on its design, it might have something to do with the creature. The enchantment is specifically tied to the creature that the item was made out of, and it looks like some sort of bird-like creature, maybe a harpy of some kind. You don't know. But yeah.
I have ideas, and I totally am just making this up, me as a character, a player, whether or not it is true. I think it is it's like, harpies and then sirens. This must be like some horn of enchanting or charming or something, for all I know. You just blow it, and then suddenly sailors show up.
Okay.
I try to blow it and see if it does anything, like use it.
Everyone but Laziz, roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, thanks, Lizzie.
And so folks who are tuning in, we are going to be taking a break very shortly. Because this is roughly a good time to do that. Yeah, you all hear this piercing, shrieking noise come out that it's unpleasant. It really just doesn't sound great. And it's really uncomfortable, but you suffer no additional harm or effects. It's just like, imagine a really beautiful, like poetic, like piece of music was being played, and then someone just brought in a trumpet and went in the middle of it. That's the equivalent effect for all of you. No harm, just honk.
I look around, I'm like, no sailors. Doesn't work the way I thought it did.
Yeah.
Maybe we should just scrap the horn for now.
I hand it back to Perry.
Okay, I'll just tuck this back in my pack.
I'm going to say for the sake of time, I'll need it.
What was the item I got from this spell again?
You got a water skin.
All right, cool.
But yeah, for the sake of time, so that we can move quickly on to the break, because I want to try and pace this out as best we can and respect the amount of time we've been given, I need a decision from the group. Which direction are you going? North, west, or east? Are you heading to potatoes, windy sand, or fungi?
Potatoes.
Ooh, the horn.
Potatoes.
The horn maybe pre-peels them. Like, if you do it loud, if you shake potatoes hard enough, the skin comes off, and then you can make French fries. So, like, this is what the horn does. And I stick the potato.
You all hear this being said as the dragon, who, before you leave, he says, "Should you end up stuck here, feel free to join the company of Azar. And don't laugh at my name, because for those of you who speak Arabic, the name Azar literally translates to shiny, so his name is a pun." So
I knew what it meant. It was just a nice knowing smile.
He just swoops, grabs all of you onto his back, takes you through to the northern mountain range in the background, towards that northern exit, and as you enter the entrance of the cave that suddenly expands to fit him, you once again go through the porthole. You have the port key effect of transportation as you are all jettisoned into a new location. And we are going to take a break right there because I think that's the best spot for us to pause for this. So yeah, I think Leona, who is currently with us in the chat, is... Yeah. Okay, so Leona will let us know. Okay, so everyone just do a nice little wave. We'll be back in a little bit. Alrighty, we ready to go, everybody?
Yep.
Okay. Hello, wonderful viewers. We have returned after an let's call it interesting encounter with a rather old crystal dragon. The party has been swept away to a new location, and the party chose an exit that smelled like potatoes. So as you emerge in this new area, you this time do not land ass over tea kettle into a new location, which is good because you realize as you step back and look behind you, just take a quick peek around, you find you are at the edge of a mountainside. You are at the top of a terrace. Incredibly high altitude with a path that leads right up ahead of you. The terrain is somewhat unstable, uneven, but there appears to be another terrace up in the distance, and what appears to be some sort of a pair of shapes a little bit in the distance as well. For anyone interested in maybe finding out what it is, roll a perception check.
Oh, I guess I'll take the first number because I forgot to take advantage. So that's a 17.
I will say Elikor on high alert, and Laziz, the laid-back bard of extraordinarily high lucky rolls. Perry and Christina, you're sort of taking in a lot more of the area. It's kind of, as opposed to the kind of constrained nature of the lake and the dungeon room that you found yourself in the beginning, this area is vast, wide open. You feel sunlight. It feels real all over your body, and it's kind of nice, and you're caught up in that moment. Elikor, you are on high alert, and when you look ahead to you, you see horns, massive curled horns belonging to what appears to be a pair of large goats.
Okay.
Bye.
What do you do? If you mention this to Perry and Christina, they will know that they can see the goats too. They're just sort of looking at you. They're just staring, almost with judgment.
There are goats. Didn't he say we had to save someone here?
Maybe we gotta get their goat.
Maybe we should go check out the goats. I'm sure whatever we have to do here probably has to do with them.
And don't goat them into anything they don't want to do. Sorry, I just have a whole bunch of puns in my head.
You feel a very slight psychic poke in the back of your head from a source you cannot quite identify. You get the sense you probably shouldn't make that pun again. But
do any of you speak goat?
Is my comprehend languages still active as a ritual?
That would have been gone a while ago.
I could speak with animals.
Well, let's just go talk to them first. Maybe they speak.
Yeah,
for some
reason. Drill it out.
Yeah.
Elikor's position is just, this place is weird. Maybe they talk. I don't know anymore. I don't know what to believe. So if you approach,
goat.
Meh.
Meh do you do? I know. I mean, I know it's a meh life. I know there's nothing going on.
I'm going to say for this occasion, Laziz, roll me an animal handling check. Just to see how they take your statement. Okay.
Bards. Bards.
Yeah.
Because bards. The session, while originally designed to be somewhat alarming and unnerving, is just actually just bards. The goats seem to calm down a little bit, and they move up to you. For a moment, to Elikor especially, it looks like they might get aggressive because they're bending their head down, but it seems like they move their heads just close enough that you can pat them.
Pet the goat. So, are you supposed to take us somewhere?
They usually give a meh reaction.
Meh.
See?
And from a little bit of ways, from a bit up the path, right around this sort of terraced area that you could see ahead of you, you hear a voice call out, "Well there, what new visitors we have to this new location?" And you see, walking up a little bit over the terrace, an Aarakocra with 3 taloned feet, wearing a set of oddly perfectly designed for their form overalls, a sort of red skin tuft over the top of their head, a very long, ruffly kind of neck, deep midnight black color with kind of pink gray edges to the feathers that almost seem reminiscent of crystal shards. And they look almost like, imagine a condor Aarakocra, effectively. He's like, "Well, Eustace and Herschel seem to have found the new people. What brings you here?"
Lesnia?
Oh, you mean Selesnine. Oh, yep.
Yeah.
Don't
Yes.
worry. Yeah, I'll tell you to your task. Just follow me.
Okay.
Eustace, Herschel, don't get too attached. They might not be living very long. Doop-a-doo.
That's encouraging.
Speak for yourself, Mutton.
Oh, I do. I'm only here to be a caretaker. To anyone who happens to go through, I give them their task and they go, "But if you'd like some tea before I give you your task, you're more than welcome to follow me." Doop-a-doo,
Will the tea
doop-a-doo.
help us in any way with the task?
Tea helps everything.
Is it
Doop-a-doo,
Doop-a-doo.
doop-a-doo.
Did
And
you
it's just-
not complete your task? Is that why you're here?
In a way,
Care
she
to
doesn't want to
elaborate?
let go. She doesn't want to let go of some people. It's part of the reason I'm still here.
You're another memory.
In a way,
Hmm.
it's hard to say, really. Even I don't remember myself, which is a funny thing to say when you don't even remember yourself. But if you don't hurry along, I'm going to lose you, and I can't show you my home to give you some tea. And he's just trotting along. He's up the path. He's for
Oh,
pretty.
we're
He looks like a
following.
pretty older
Yeah, we're
fella.
following.
He's still tracking along much faster than all of you. He's unerringly fast for someone who appears to be very, very old. Very old
Can
Condor
I-
Aarakocra.
with my animal handling ride one of the goats?
Glad to see you have your priorities straight.
Yeah.
Aziz, to quote an earlier statement I made, I will allow it because it's funny. So yes, the one who he seemed to he pointed to with the quarterstaff named Herschel will bend down and allow you to ride them.
I plod along on the goat.
As you do, you are able to make your way to that one.
Can I strum a cittern tune to the tune of Mary Had a Little Lamb?
You may. You will once again feel a very slight psychic poke on the back of your head, but you will also, just you, Lizzie's, will hear a very faint giggle as well, almost like someone is kind of amused by this. And he takes you to what appears to be a very small little thatched roof kind of home. It seems to have a relatively simple, basic brown door, a wreath of flowers all tied over it. And Perry, I would say with your particular background in Druidic magic, you realize that these are not native to the area around you, and these are probably Druid crafted. And you see rows and rows of potatoes all along. He appears to be a farmer of some sort who's just been making some crops and tending to things here. And he invites you into his home. Not too much space. There's little stools, little wooden like chairs and such, a couple of additional less comfy rock steps he offers you as a spot to sit down. And he makes his way over to a little kettle. He makes a little light using some druid craft and other little cantrips, and he can control flame. Heats up a little kettle, and he sets it down. I imagine you all have some questions.
So many.
Just a little.
So many questions. Is
like
this
to
place
see-
even real?
Oh, of course it's real. You're feeling it, aren't you? Shouldn't that be real enough?
Are we physically here?
I would imagine if she's brought you here, then you very much are real and very much are here.
Where is she?
Waiting, I imagine. She's waiting in your final location. She's I imagine, entertaining herself just a little bit.
Wait, so entertaining herself the same way I was with my quartet, or entertaining herself?
A little bit less
Like-
debauchery.
Ah,
Okay.
Wait, I want to hear the story. What were you doing with your quartet?
He's
oh,
also
well.
suddenly taken interest in your story about the quartet.
Well, you see, we initially it started as a duo, and then my friend came along and we became a trio, like a three-way. And then this lovely elf with her long slim flute joined us. And then it became a quartet where we were polishing our instruments, and then creating some wonderful music. And I just go on and with as many innuendos as I can about music, but it was truly an orgy.
I see, even as a memory, that my view of bards has been proven correct once again. May you never change. But your tea is ready, and he just hands out these little. He takes a moment, and it's quite delicate and beautiful. He makes these almost little like wreaths of like flowered mugs for all of you to drink from, and they seem to actually support the tea quite well. And he hands one to each of you. There'll be danger soon, but I imagine you'll be just fine.
So we're just here to entertain her, basically. That's what's
In
going
a
on?
way,
Because she's lonely and bored.
you could say that. It depends on the day, or in her perspective, the millennia.
Me.
And what about those bodies we saw in the cells earlier? Were those just for fun too?
What bodies?
When we woke up, we were in these cells.
Nay on the body, nay.
Yeah,
What
we
bodies?
might not want to
I-
mention.
It's been some time since I've actually left this area. I have no recollection of any sort of bodies or anything being found around the mountain.
I sort of whisper very quietly, I think the bodies are them. And I look at the Aarakocra and then look back at you.
Aziz, you don't even need to roll a check. It is that what you found, the body, is exactly like this person talking to you.
Oh,
Christy, then it's gonna be
Okay.
like, and then like, never mind. I think I was just imagining it. Nothing to worry about. I think just waking up, my head has been hurting like all day. I've had just this really bad headache, so I think that was it. This tea is really great, by the way. Thank you so much.
Oh, well, thank you. I don't normally get much company to try out new recipes, and it's been a while since I've gotten to actually make some for anyone else.
What
And
blend is this?
it's a home brew of my own making. It takes a bit of a while to make, but quite worth it. And right as he finishes saying this, you all start hearing music coming from outside. A very enchanting song. Beautiful, rapturous, delightful. And I'm going to need a wisdom saving throw from everyone.
Ooh, Lizzie.
Normal. System.
My luck has runneth out.
Oh boy, 14.
So everyone but Laziz, you feel this song. There's an element to it where it just seeps into your consciousness, and you feel it dragging you, pulling you out on to the outside of the hut, and you start making your way. But for everyone except Laziz, you have a moment of like, wait, no, I don't want to do this.
I'm
Why is
totally
this
out the door.
Laziz, yeah, you are gone. You feel compelled to just run and start making your way towards this area. And hold on, you are no longer on that map, I promise. You're on a different map. Here, you are on this map.
Ah,
And
pink circle.
Yes. You had a pink circle. Turn on Fog of War. Hold on. Getting rid of that. Getting rid of that. And you hear, if everyone could move their tokens onto the southernmost part of the board, I'd say, Laziz, you're about halfway towards these other creatures that I'm about to reveal.
How do I move my token on the board?
You go to the tab for journal for where your token is and just drag it and move it onto the map.
Oh, okay.
Oh, she big.
We're
So yeah.
down this way.
Yeah, I'll say Laziz is that you are about. Would you like me to move your token, Laziz, onto the board?
Yes, because I seem incapable of getting my token.
Yeah, I'll say Laziz, you're about this way. The rest of you, as you're outside of the hut, which was a little bit more on the southern edge of this, and Elikor, I'll move you forward because you're still with a lot of the main group because I think you are so on high alert that you're not leaving the group
Right.
to go off in any way. The rest of you are able to see. Laziz sees this, but is enamored and not really paying attention. But you see a pair of winged creatures suddenly appear, brown, like brown feathers, sort of the color of like brown sugar, pointed, long, feminine faces with these yellow to sort of light orange taloned hands, a pointed beak, nose, and ears. You see a pair of harpies in the midst of their song, and they are luring Laziz towards them.
A good thing I don't have the horn.
But I'll say no attack has been made. They're just moving right now. But what do? You have one round, I'll say, to decide what are you doing.
I'm going to tackle Laziz.
Okay.
Wait, I want them to make my quartet a sextet. Sextet.
God damn it. Laziz, so I'll say, Elikor, you are able to get right next to Laziz. Perry and Christina, while I describe what's happening with Elikor and Laziz, start figuring out what you want to do. Because Elikor, as you do that, I'm going to say you are strong enough to tackle Laziz to the ground. Laziz, roll another wisdom saving throw for me.
Okay.
Nope. Laziz, you still feel compelled, but Christina, Perry, what are you doing? Because you see these harpies, they're now starting to move closer to Elikor.
I really want that sextet.
Is she grappled by Elikor?
That's up to Elikor. If Elikor chooses to grapple, then I will ask for checks from both of you to see if Laziz can escape. But
yeah, I'm going to grapple her.
Okay. So in that case, Elikor, athletics, Laziz, athletics, or acrobatics. It's going to be contested between the two of you to see if you can keep it, because both the harpies are heading towards you now. And Christina and Perry, what are you doing? You see the harpies going. What are you doing? They're both heading towards Laziz and Elikor. Elikor, you managed to hold down Laziz. What are you doing?
I want to go run over and help Elikor.
I'm gonna, you guys.
No.
I'm gonna cast Hold Person on Laziz.
This is quite the dog
Okay, Laziz.
So it's a wisdom saving throw.
It's another wisdom saving.
Oh,
So
wow.
Laziz is now paralyzed.
I was wise.
I mean, at least you're not going toward the harpies now.
Yes, but the harpies are now moving towards Laziz.
Yes, that's true. But
I am now harpy snacks.
Laziz has some friends who are here to do some other stuff for her.
I'm going to say it's going to be initiative from everyone because the harpies are coming in to now claw at the paralyzed Laziz, who, if it's going to be an auto crit.
Well, I'm glad I got that one out of the way now.
Oh, my turn disappeared.
Okay. So that's okay.
Oh,
Yeah, my turn. My initiative disappeared from the tracker.
Oh, I had cleared them because I was going to give you all room to do that, but just re-roll it. Just re-roll it for the sake of just ease. So click on your tokens, then click initiative, and then we'll count that as the rolls, and I'll be adding in the other harpy-related rolls.
Oh, now I get a good roll.
I didn't mean to hit it twice, sorry.
It's fine. Like, I'm being very lax with this right now.
I did it twice because the first time I forgot to click on my token.
Yeah, we're going to treat the second ones. And trust me, pretty much everyone is going to roll better than the harpies because I pre-rolled initiative to make things easier. Oh God, chat. Herbal, you are a goof. They have indicated if Perry has any site-based spells, they will be periscopes.
By the way, that's my husband. Hairball's my husband.
Husband
bad jokes.
Goof, and I already like them. But okay, we're gonna say the whole person is still in effect until it gets to Perry's turn to drop it. But Christina, you have the first go. You rolled the highest on initiative. You see that the harpies are now heading towards Laziz, and also Rochelle. What are you gonna do? Because they're both closing in and they look entirely aggressive. What do you do?
So yeah, they look aggressive, and I was just trying to stop Laziz, but now I feel really bad for paralyzing her.
It happens. I feel like this is not the first time Laziz has caused someone to cast
paralyzing them.
This is true. Christina, it's your turn. Christina.
Christina's going to catch flame arrows
on your weapons?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have that. So that's going to add a d6 of your damage. I already included a flame arrows attack input on your sheet when we were making your character. So that's, I believe, flame arrows. Is it a bonus action or is it an action?
I believe it's an action.
Okay, so unless you have another spell for a bonus action or can do something else, that might be the whole of your turn for right now.
Yeah, that'll be
unless you're planning to move closer, or are you going to stay where you're at?
Let me see. I'll move a little closer.
Okie doke.
Excuse me. Hold on. Let me make sure I cast flame arrows. I'm going to move right over here.
Okie doke. With that being your turn, Elikor, what you gonna do? You got two harpies coming in on Laziz. You know what this usually means.
Low enough that I can hit them?
They are low enough. They only have, it looks like they only have their claws and what appears to be a large wooden club between the two of them, meaning each of them has a wooden club that they're trying to attack Laziz with.
Okay.
They rolled terrible initiative. They're not going to get to attack just yet.
I'm going to say, hey, what are you guys doing? And then I'll hold, and if they go to attack her, then I'll attack them.
Attack them?
Yes.
Attack them? Okay. As you say that, they both just turn and just like, just hear a very loud screech just in your direction. They don't appear to be fazed by any of your language. They seem to understand it. They're just very angry. But so you are holding your action, so you're going to use your reaction. If they make any aggressive action towards Laziz, you're going to attack them, the one that's
Correct.
closest to you.
Correct.
Okay, got it. Okay, so that is going to be Elikor's turn. Laziz, you are paralyzed, I believe, with the...
I have to make several wisdom saving throws.
Yeah, you kind of, because you're still maintaining the song, so let's... oh boy, that whole person really has made this complicated. Roll for the charm. Okay, so the charm is broken. You no longer feel entirely compelled. Now roll a wisdom save to see if you can break the hold person. Does a 15 meet your DC, Perry?
My DC is exactly 15.
Then the hold person spell ends. You can now move, but that is sadly the end of your turn, Laziz.
Give everybody a glare as I'm like...
I knew you could do it all along, Laziz.
Like the three other people in the party who aren't Laziz are just like looking at each other. It's like, sure. But so let's see.
So I believe those happen at the end of my turn, which means my turn's over.
Yeah. So sadly, that's going to be the end of your turn. And
it's okay. I have my reactions now.
You do have your reactions, but. Now we have the two harpies are going to make their attacks. The first one against Laziz, which is going to be a natural one. And then with the claw, that's going to be an 18 to hit you. The 18 is for the second hit.
I will do cutting words on the second hit.
Okay, go through cutting words.
And I believe that is a deduct a D8 from it. So I'll roll a D8 right now.
Alrighty, roll a d8 and we'll see if that drops it. So that's going to get it to a 15.
That still hits.
Okay, you are going to take 5 points of bludgeoning damage from the club of this one harpy. But as it does its attacks, Elikor, you get your 2 attacks. Swing away. It's like, please react.
Does that hit?
An 18 most definitely hits a harpy.
Okay.
That is going to be it's going to be a lot. Oh boy. It's going to be 14 points of damage. Oh boy. Yeah, harpy's already starting to look pretty hurt. You have a second attack?
Yeah, it's coming.
Oh boy.
Hey, I gave him a chance. I gave him a chance.
That's a crit.
Yeah, Elikor.
That's gonna hurt. Yeah, it's gonna hurt. Yeah, this harpy is looking real bad. Yeah.
You liked me.
So that's the end of that harpy's turn. It went from very angry at the bard to now very angry at the fighter, who just... You've hacked off a leg and hacked off a talon off of one of the other feet.
I gave her a chance to back down.
This is true. The other harpy is gonna still try and take the opportunity to deal with Laziz. That's gonna be a 21 to hit.
Oh, it
And
doesn't
then-
hit at all.
And then an 11 to hit.
The 11 misses.
Okay, the first hit is going to be with its claws, which is going to be 8 slashing damage. That's all this, and then the harpy is just going to back away over here. It's just going to fly over in this direction. Just get away from the scimitar swinging fighter. Also, Salty Lemon Pie, thank you for joining the party. We're happy to have you. Welcome and enjoy the fun. But with turn order going around, we have Perry, you're up. Oh, shit. I must have skipped you at last turn. I didn't see you in the turn order, Perry. My mistake. Take 2
that might
turns
have
right
had
now,
to do
but that
with
being
when
my
I
mistake.
did my initiative.
Yeah, I think just take
That's
2
okay.
turns right now.
That was Perry's punishment for being so mean to Lizzie.
Feel free to take your turns right now, but there is one harpy who is, looking real bad. Looking real bad.
Yes. Okay. All right. So for my first turn at this, does this?
The harpy that's right next to Rochelle and Elicor, that's the one that's mostly damaged.
Okay. The other one that is a little bit farther away.
Yes.
Perry is going to cast Moonbeam up above it.
Oh boy, that's gonna be rough. They do not have a high constitution. However, when they roll a 19 and +1, it doesn't matter.
Oh. Okay.
But is it half damage on save?
Half as much, so I still have to roll for damage.
Okay, so roll your damage, which I believe was like 2d8, 2d10, somewhere around that range.
2d10, yeah.
Yep. So roll your 2d10. I'm marking out the damage. This thing seems to like just, if you could see a harpy flex, it tanks the moonbeam damage, but is still partially fried by it.
Ooh.
So half that.
Right, but the +7, that's for spell attacks. That's not going to be the damage that's added onto Moonbeam, unless Moonbeam is you add your spellcasting modifier. So it'd be 18, and then have that. So that would be 9 damage. But that's still a very solid blow at this thing. Yeah, she's not very happy either. She's slightly crispy, and oddly, you smell chicken.
This zone is making me hungry. Chicken and potatoes.
All we need is some sage, rosemary, and thyme.
All of a sudden, 2 bards by the name of Simon and Art appear on the field. But Perry, so that was your main action. Are you doing anything with your movement, or are you staying where you are?
I am going to move a little bit this way.
Okay, doke.
Like that. Okay.
All right, so that's your turn?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Christina, you're up. What are you going to do? One of the harpies, again, is very damaged, and the other one just got burned a little bit by the moonbeam, which is currently being cast down on it.
I'm going to go ahead and shoot my arrow at the one that's almost dead.
Okay. So
roll,
I believe put it under flame arrows on your set of attacks. So let's see what happens. That might kill it. Yeah, that's definitely going to hit. So click on the flame arrows and it'll tell you what the damage is going to be between the arrow and the fire. How does it look when Christina finishes off the harpy?
She just kind of like steps up and like, cause she just lit her arrows all on fire last time. So she like picks out one and she like notches it, and then she just looks it like dead in the face, and then she shoots it.
there's almost like a slow down moment that happens as it turns and it starts to make like a screeching, like the harpy is gone.
This harpy is on fire.
It actually is on fire at this point, so that makes even more sense.
All we need now is 2 biscuits and some mashed potato.
I'm gonna be so hungry at the end of this one shot. I blame you, Lizzie. But yeah, as with that being your main action, are you going to move at all, Christina, or are you going to stay?
I'm gonna go ahead and move a little closer to the other one, right here.
Okay, dokes. All right, we'll count that as your turn unless you have a bonus action, which I don't think you currently have anything else. So with that, Elicor, you're up.
I'm gonna run after the other one.
Okay, doke.
And I'm gonna hit it.
I'm gonna hit it. I'm gonna hit it real good. That's definitely gonna hit it. Jesus Christ. Should have given you a tougher creature to deal with. Yeah, that's damage. That's a lot of damage.
Then I'm gonna hit it again.
You know what? What did my harpies ever do to you? Just kidding.
I gave them a chance.
Oh,
No,
boy,
that's warranted. In this case, it's warranted. They just seem like they're going to try and kill you because they can't. Jesus, that's a. Why do fighters got to be like this?
Well,
you know, fighters doing fighter things. Yeah, that's.
She's getting out
also,
all her aggression from being bit by a dragon, so she's taking it all out on harpies.
Also, are you dual wielding, by the way?
Nope, single.
Oh, single. Okay, just double checking. But yeah, if that's your turn and there's nothing else you want to do for your bonus action.
Nope, she's good.
Okie doke. Aziz, you're up.
I am going to take out my cittern and I'm going to say, "You are my chicken fry. You are my chicken fry." And then, and I'm going to say, "Your singing is foul," and I'm going to cast Vicious Mockery with it.
So that all our viewers can be aware, we've just had a bard use Vicious Mockery and refer to a harpy as foul.
It's, if it fails, it'll take 6 psychic damage and disadvantage on next attack.
That's an 18.
So no psychic damage and nothing all of that, and I will just say, "Hey, Elicor, finish her," and I will give you a bardic inspiration dice.
Thanks.
For whatever reason, in all of your heads, you start hearing dun 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 and Mortal Kombat theme playing. It's very alarming. None of you have heard this tune before, and yet it feels strangely familiar.
Finish her.
The harpy is desperate and it wants to fly away, but there's. Yeah, it's just going to go the route that a lot of my creatures go, which is going to try and be petty and just try and hit the bard that just tried to mock it.
Take my attack of opportunity.
I assumed that you would. I assumed that this would be bad for my harpy. That is going to hit. Elicor, what's it look like when you finish off the harpy? Because this thing was going to roll a 20 and a 19 to hit Laziz.
Basically, I just gut her in the back, right between her wings.
Oh my. And with that, the harpy is no more. And we are out of initiative. As this happened so quickly that you see the Condor Aarakocra come out, and he's like, well, impressive. Clean that up real quick.
You have some buttermilk? I feel like chicken.
He holds back a smile, but he says, well, unfortunately, I do not, but I can do you something better. Oh, wait, sorry, that's not his voice. Well, I can do you something better. I can get you out of this place, or at least to the final location.
Yay!
Great.
Yes, please.
We'd like to go home.
Taps the ground. You hear, as he does this, you feel a pulse all the way across the ground. And you hear another bird call out in the distance, but a very different one from the harpies. As you see a large winged creature suddenly swoop down, and you see what appears to be almost the large body of a horse, with the top half being more bird-like and almost like falconish. This is a hippogriff. Seems that old Charlie was having some trouble with these harpies attacking it every now and then and couldn't make it back to his nest. Haven't been able to call him back in quite a long time. I think this merits you a ride back to the exit. Come on, Charlie. He taps his staff on the ground. And as he does, the hippogriff just kneels down and offers its back. It's a very massive sized hippogriff as well for the kind of creature that it is. It's much bigger than you'd normally see it for a hippogriff, but it's big enough to hold all of you. Charlie will take you up. Many thanks for helping out the hippogriff.
What we do.
And yeah, the hippogriff just sort of rests down. It kneels. And it does its best to just, if you're all going to go on without any issue, it flies you up to the top of the mountain.
If I hop on.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I'll get on.
It's a very
Golly.
you're going to the top of Candy Mountain, but it's essentially, it's very much for anyone who's ever seen Neverending Story. It's kind of like ending scene kind of ride, where it feels fantastic. The wind's blowing behind you. This hippogriff is just soaring through the air carefully, and it lands, and you reach the entrance of a cave. And the Condor Aarakocra is there as well.
You move swiftly.
You know, it's kind of nice having old age on your side, because people underestimate you all the time. Never think you can do very much.
Well, you make good tea.
Much appreciated. I used to make lots of tea and take my time to help others and care as Selesnine's mother for quite a long time. And you see him tap the staff one more time. Visage fades away to the form of another. This one being a little bit of an older woman, somewhat similar to the child you saw earlier in some ways. Very warm-natured face about her. She has the same clear white eyes from the child at the beginning. Gray flakes, with shoulder-length hair, closely cut, kind of tight brown hair, an oval, pointed face. The same kind of basic tunic. It's nice to see people willing to help others again. The only memories she has of kindness and warmth are of me, and even me she struggles to hold on to. I will take you to your last location, and you will meet her. I thank you for showing kindness to the hippogriff. She took her and lived with me in the mountains amongst many family members. She knew love, she knew warmth, but she sought company, and she found something she did not quite understand. But more will be explained in a moment. She taps the staff, and you see emerge behind her the same double door of astral runic symbols, and now with an almost detailing of crystal shards all along it. Bright doors open up, light overtakes you, and once again, you find yourself feeling that same port key-like transportation effect to one last location. You find yourselves adrift, in a way almost floating within the vastness of space, were it not for the sort of centralized rock island that all of you were standing on. You see bright colors flashing every now and then, auras of pink, white, blue energy everywhere, a shimmer alongside very translucent walls that mark a path that all of you are on. And the little girl from the beginning, the same sort of impish smile on her face, awaiting all of you. You do not fall ass over tea kettle. You all arrived on your feet, no issue.
Getting the hang of it.
Done a couple trips now.
Yeah.
You do seem to get better at it. And I'm glad to have you here. You seem like pleasant people, and my uncle enjoys your company. I'm sure you will enjoy your time here forever. And she just walks forward, and she sort of just gestures with her hand and leads forward a little bit, and you're able to walk for a bit and follow her should you like. You may ask her anything you like along the time while this is happening.
What do you mean by forever?
It's what it wants, or what I guess I want, she wants. It's strange. I don't really know anymore. I'm what's left of her.
Are you trapped here?
In some ways. I wish I could be more clear, but I'm just a memory.
Where are you taking us?
To meet Sesja. And I'm going to put in the chat the name.
Is Sesja another memory also?
She is the strongest memory that remains here. And the most connected to what has brought you all here.
Didn't you bring us here?
I enact her will. I am what's left of her happiest memories for when she was young. Or rather, what it believes are her memories. I am, as I said before, what remains. She walks forward, and it feels like, in some ways, 10, 15 seconds. It feels like 10, 15 minutes, and it feels like 3 hours of travel. The time is lost to you, how long this path carries on for. Just imagining rock after rock, building upon building, building upon itself for an immeasurable amount of time until you reach a massive gateway. Not a set of doors now, but a massive gateway of shards of crystal, all with a sort of shade, a sort of texture of diamonds, colors multiple in nature. and the young girl stops in front of it. She waves a hand over her body, and you see the visage drop to form one new image. A woman, an older woman. Broad shoulders, defined muscles, a weathered face, skin that looks wrinkled, not by age, but by stress, a very pointed face with a sort of rounded chin, a breastplate that seems to emanate a slight magical aura beneath robes of the similar nature to what Selesnine had mentioned before, and white, shining eyes. In a way, for viewers who would like a kind of cool reference image, imagine Zarya, but a lot browner. Zarya from Overwatch, but a lot browner, a lot more muscular, and a little bit older. Hello, travelers.
Are you
Hello.
Thesja?
Yes. I am an ancestor of the one who has called herself Selesnine. I, like many humans and others before you, stumbled upon something I didn't understand and made connection with something. I knew the name of it only as a shard mind, and it showed me wondrous things of a world and of minds and of images and beauty that I sought to know more about. But when I perished, it would not let go. It would not let go of any of us. It came to know human emotion, and for that, it came to know loneliness and love and warmth and all the things that make life wonderful. And in doing so, it now wishes to have company, more than memories. It wishes to have all of you.
My
We
dice
don't want to stay here.
I start taking out my Saturn and playing Just Let It Go.
Oh my God.
Just let it be. Why don't you be you?
Christina's just gonna like stop you in the middle and like put her hand on top of yours and be like, "Now is not the time. Now is not the time."
You see, oddly enough, that Sesha joins in on the song. It seems, from your estimation, Lizzie, she has a sort of bardic nature to her as well. I used to perform for my family. I was the caretaker to them and the champion of them. When things became rough, I was their guardian. And it seems I must be the guardian for the shard mind now as well, for that is what it wishes of me. You will not leave. That is its command, and I must obey its will.
What is the shard mine?
Elikor, with the crit that you got earlier, with the way that it's been talking, your memories clear with the haze of moving more and more what feels like closer to an exit. You've heard tales of creatures known as shard minds, beings from the far realms that once composed physically their whole body, making up what was known as the living gate, a portal to other between realms. Often beings of great psionic power, able to, it was said, make pacts of a warlock-like nature with beings who stumbled upon them. It had not been said for many a long time that anyone had ever made a connection with such creatures. But it would seem that Sesja, from the way she's been talking, has, or did.
I'd relay all this information to the group.
It's like very, very hurriedly rushed, like whispered, like comments to everyone else, but yeah.
So if we make a pact with them, maybe we can leave.
Yeah, you don't make pacts with monsters.
That doesn't sound like the best
I
idea.
think we
Well,
need
we
to
don't have to
destroy it.
follow it. We can just kind of say we're going to do it and then not.
If she's bonded with you, Setsha, then she should know that everything comes to an end.
Not with the right memories. Memories don't have to end. And it's strange, the voice that you've been hearing now becomes much more ethereal. And as she's speaking more and more, you hear several voices of all the people you've encountered so far, even Azara's voice, of the younger Selesnine's voice. You hear multiple voices. Memories do not have to end. They do not have to be the end of any of you. I do not have to know loss anymore. I can have more of you to play with.
But loss is what makes us human.
Funny to hear this coming from a half-elf.
I go to Barry and I whisper, hand me the horn. I have an idea.
You will stay.
I'm gonna sort of casually slip the horn from my pack and
Roll me a sleight of
hand it
hand
to
on
Lizzie.
that one. Roll me a sleight of hand
Okay.
to see if you can get by the extraplanar entity's passive
Oh my
perception.
goodness.
Sure, exactly, right. No, apparently not.
Oh, wow.
That is very bad.
You will stay, or of your own will, or you see her reach her hand back and pull out a long great sword, the blade entirely coated in crystal shards. That is its will, and so it must be my will. I would like everyone to place themselves on the board, on the map, southern edge.
Ooh.
Okay.
And after doing that, you hear her start to speak, and Laziz, you caught fragments of the language earlier,
Mm-hmm.
and you hear her start moving the sword in a particular manner, directed towards you all. And you hear in the language that you didn't quite understand before, you hear the word silence.
Can I
And she
cast
passes.
counterspell?
You can.
All right, counterspell. So if it is a 3rd level or lower, then it is automatically dispelled. Otherwise, I have to roll a caster check.
It is only a 2nd level, so she is down. But upon doing that, she is going to get very angry.
And I do this.
And I think that's going to be initiative from everybody.
I still am having issues trying to put my token on the board. For some reason,
I will put it in right now. I am just moving it for ease of adding this to the board. She is not suddenly moving automatically 60 feet, I promise.
Really?
I keep doing that. Do you need me to do that again? Because I forgot to click on my token.
I'll add it. It was 22.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so that was everyone but Lizzie's, who I'm adding to the board right now. Okay, Lizzie's. Okay, there you go.
Finally, I have initiative that doesn't suck.
But yeah. With that being the case, Perry, you see her, after attempting to cast this spell, just raise the sword above her head, grip it with both of her hands, in a feature that, in a way that Elikor, you recognize this is a great sword, and she looks quite capable of wielding it. What do you do? You're up first. What are you doing?
Okay. I am going to cast Moonbeam again. I can cast it at 3rd level to get more damage, hopefully.
Go right ahead.
Oh, oops.
Okay, and what's the DC for it?
15. Wait, is that my DC or?
That would be your DC, but it doesn't matter. She rolled a natural 1.
Okay.
She's going to take 13 points of damage. Plus the 7, so that's going to be 20 points of damage. Okay. She has been hurt by that. All right. Are you doing anything else?
No, I'm going to stay where I am.
The end of your turn, she is going to use a legendary action to move her movement speed closer to all of you. Christina and her have the same initiative. Christina, what is your dex modifier?
+4.
All right. She.
Wait, no, wait. Dex? Yeah, +4.
Dex. Yep. So you go first. So the
Cool.
order is correct. So what are you going to do? She's getting closer to all of you.
I'm going to cast Blindness Deafness on her, and I'm going to use my heightened spell ability to make her have this disadvantage on her saving throw.
All right. She's only going to get a plus. She's only going to get 7 to that. She's going to use one of her legendary resistances to ignore the effect. Good call. She only has a few of those.
Oh, I can't do anything as a bonus action, so that's my turn.
If you want to move, you still can, because she's coming towards all of you. So heads up.
Well, we only have so far we can move, but yeah, let me just scooch back.
Okay. End of your turn. She is going to use her other legendary action to move closer to Lizzie's so that she doesn't have to move on her turn. She, not being quite happy with Lizzie's having nullified her main CC spell, god damn it, Lizzie's, is going to attack.
Okay. I may use Cutting Word just to let you know.
Okay.
I haven't decided if I'm going to use it, but I think it's you get to roll and then I decide. But before telling me whether it's success or failure, I can decide.
The first one is going to be a 24 to hit you.
I will Cutting Word the damage.
Okay, that's going to be it's going to be 11 points of slashing damage. So cutting words, however much of that you can.
Yeah.
And the second one is only going to be an 11 to hit you, but when she does this, ignore the alarm.
So it'll be 9 damage instead.
Okay, but while she does this, she is going to. You see her; she's quite skilled with her greatsword. She's going to do a sort of flourish with it as she attacks, and she is going to use defensive flourish to boost her AC. By an unknown amount. Then that's going to be her turn. Aziz, you're right there.
Yep.
What are you going to do? She's right in your range.
I am going to cast with my Saturn invisibility on myself.
Okay.
And hoping that helps me, I am going to move. Does she attack of opportunity as I move away?
Yep, and she rolls the same thing on both of them, 21. And you've used your reaction already.
Yes, I have.
Okay. It's going to be 11 points of slashing damage as while she can't see you, her eyes just seem to lock on to where she's heard your presence and comes down with the great sword and cuts across your side. You're still invisible, but it doesn't seem to have bothered her at all.
Reaction, so sorry, it is a concentration spell, so I don't have that anymore, and I guess I'll be here. And at this point, you've cut me, so I'm just gonna run this way.
You've cut me, therefore I'm going to run. That is the appropriate reaction to being cut. But
and then bonus action. Bonus action, I'm gonna give my last bardic inspiration to Elikor, and I sort of like, get him! Get a D8 bardic inspiration. Wait, do you still have your bardic inspiration from the last time?
It would have been gone by now because we spent like hours walking.
Okay.
I said it felt like it. I'm going to allow you to still have it.
Okay, then yeah, I still have it.
Then I will give it to... I will give it to the next person. I will give it to... sorry, I'm having trouble. I will give it to whoever has initiative at 22. Sorry, because yes. So Barry, you get it.
Okay, cool.
Because there's no naming on the token, so I actually don't know whose token is who.
Okay.
So you have a D8, and that's my turn.
Okay.
Okay. So because she got her legendary actions back at the end of her turn, she is going to swing the blade around and direct 2 long beams composed entirely of crystal shards at you, Lizzie, as she fires an eldritch blast at you.
No.
Remember me, my friends.
That is going to be a 16 to hit with the first eldritch blast.
That's a hit.
And then a 10 to hit with the second eldritch blast. So only the first one is going to hit.
Maybe just do your damage first.
You're like, my AC is so low that like everything hits me. Oh, right, and she doesn't have that, so that's going to be not plus her charisma, sadly. So that's going to be 3 points of force damage as you feel your body peppered by these ethereal crystal shards all across your body. Elikor, it's your turn.
I'm going to move over towards her, but instead of attacking, I'm going to say, if you know anything about humanity, you know we don't like being enslaved. We don't want to hurt you, but we will fight for our freedom. And then I'm just going to hold, and if she attacks me, I'll attack her.
Roll a persuasion check. It's the face of, please let me have a crit.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Roll 20. Why you got to be like that? Why at this moment? I have a boss battle to run here.
Intelligent fighter steps in.
New challenger has approached. The intelligent fighter. God damn it. All right. Is that you're holding your action though in case she becomes aggressive?
Correct.
You see her resolve falter just a little bit. Perry, start thinking about what you want to do. Mm-hmm. But Elikor, you sense her words, or your words have reached out perhaps to Sezja, not the shard mind. The impact will be yet to be determined, but she seems to be struggling. Perry, what do you do?
So I have the ability to move my moonbeam, right?
Yes.
Does that take my action, or is that just like part of the spell?
Does. I would have to double check moonbeam specifics real quick.
Might be a bonus, but it would be written there.
Yeah, it would be written on the spell. 5-foot radius of the spell and stem light fills the cylinder. Shape changer. Each of your turns after you cast its spell. You can use an action to move the beam 60 feet in any direction. She did not. She moved pretty much exactly 60 feet. So you could move the moonbeam directly on top of her again.
Yep, that's exactly what I'd like to do. Do I roll that as if I'm casting it again?
Yes, I would say. It's still at the same level, so just cast it as like a third level, but don't take away the spell slot. Just do it the same thing you did before.
Okay.
It's going to be a solid chunk of damage out of her. And I'll say, because I didn't do it on the previous one, you start seeing the form of Sezja breaking. Not like bones snapping or like head being ripped apart or anything, but you see fragments of her body literally falling apart, like breaking apart like a piece of jewelry that's just crumbling to pieces. And it seems as though there's the echo, almost the aura of another form behind her as the moonbeam starts to incinerate her. Because I just realized when I read the spell, it says spellcaster, it says shape changers are revealed.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, you would have to use your action for that, but are you going to do anything else with your action or turn?
I think, Laziz, how are you looking?
On a scale of 45, I'm a 9.
Okay, I'm going to move toward Laziz. Okay.
At the end of your turn, Perry, if you're going to do anything else, are you casting any other spells for Laziz?
I don't think I am close enough.
Okay. Will that be your turn?
That will, hold on 1 second, let me just check something.
There's a new turn, new reactions.
Yeah, that's it. That's the end of my turn.
The end of your turn, the rather legendary action. Elikor, while your words have stirred her and broken her resolve, it seems as though her body shudders a bit and feels it almost looks, the movements are almost puppeted as the great sword she's wielding disappears and a long polearm, a glaive, emerges, made with a tip of glowing pink, blue, white crystals and a long body made from a dragon bone. She reaches with it and stabs you with a 24 to hit you.
That hits.
Saw the like 7 emotions that happened all at once. Like, could I? Wait, can't. No, shit. No. Yep. That's going to be 9 points of slashing damage.
Okay.
But you do have your reaction, and if you want to take the attack.
I will. Actually, no, she won't attack. She will say, what will she say? listen, I would sacrifice my life and my soul to protect the innocent. I will sacrifice my life and my soul to protect these folks. They are innocent. I understand that you want to be more like us, that you want to feel, but what you're doing is wrong. And that's all.
Okay. Roll persuasion. Christina, what are you doing?
After hearing what was that one?
That one wasn't very persuasive.
Oops. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and like try and piggyback off of that, and I'm gonna say like, well, I understand that you're lonely and that you want friends and everything, but forcing us to stay here isn't gonna make us like you. It's just mean and it's cruel. And then I'm going to hold my action, and if she attacks anyone in the party, then I'm going to hit her with my crossbow.
Okay.
Should I also roll for persuasion?
I would say roll for persuasion. The DC will be lower this time.
Nice.
Sorcerer. Sorcerers and bards,
Persuasive.
man. Sorcerer and the bard. This is what happens when
Well, the fighter started it.
No, I know. Actually the bard is the hurt the most. This is down to the sorcerer and the fighter in this case. And
Everybody loves dogpiling on bards. I have no idea why.
because of our time, for where we are at, I'm going to shift this to one quick thing once my computer stops being fussy with me. Let's read the area of effect for this.
Is this the start of her turn?
This is the start of her turn.
Is
You
it
have
a
to do
spell?
the con save for Moonbeam.
It's going to be a 17 plus 4.
Okay.
That's 21. But
Yeah.
she's still going to take half damage for whatever you roll. But
Okay.
Casting a spell, I will counterspell it.
I know. You see as the moonbeam, we'll flavor this as the moonbeam breaks through more of her body, you see a final shape emerge out of what was just form. All this is just gone, all auras remaining, a sudden rise in voices, a chorus of voices of all that you've heard and what sounds like multiple other voices of people you don't recognize. As the final form of this creature emerges. Humanoid in its shape, but entirely made of crystal. Whole segments of the body. There's a face to it that maybe looks as though it has the features that a human has. And it stares at all of you.
They're back.
Please just stay. Please just stay. I don't want to be alone anymore. See energy emanate out of her eyes, coalesce into a ball of energy into her hands, and a psionic beam that is going to hit all of you emanates out from her hands.
Can I counterspell that?
You would if she weren't also counterspelling you back.
Oh.
Oh.
Because you see, she's like, no. And your magic energy just snaps out of your hands. I need everybody to roll me an intelligence saving throw.
You have for Christina and Elacor, you do have a D8 to add to it.
Oh, I do? So how does that work?
Just add a D8 and add to the roll. Like,
Okay.
Okay.
One,
It's going to be 1, 2, 3. All right, you all pass. You're all going to take. Let's double check the damage type. No, Cyclops 13. Yep. You take 15 points of psychic damage, all of you, as you feel this pulse of psionic energy just emerge from the beam hitting you all.
I am unconscious.
The creature falls to its knees, looking spent of its energy. It seems as though this magic has drained most of its energy, both life and magical, and it has nothing that it can do to defend itself now.
Avenge me, my fallen comrades. No, my not fallen comrades.
Are we still in initiative?
Lizzie, roll me a d20 for your death saving throw, because we are.
Oh,
Oh,
avenge me!
That's 2 death saving
2.
throws failed.
Oh no.
Elikor, what do you do? The creature does not appear aggressive anymore. It just looks broken.
I walk over and I give her a hug and I say, why don't you come into the world with us and become part of the living instead of this death that you've been living all these eons?
You see teardrops form at the edge of what looks like the humanoid sort of face. And it leans into the hug a little bit more. And you just hear it whisper less through speaking out loud and more through your head. You just hear it say, all right. Points its finger using a legendary action towards Laziz, and using 2 sorcery points, it extends a touch spell of Cure Wounds to Laziz. Laziz, you get 7 points of healing back. I already rolled it. I'm sorry.
Am I dead? Am I in heaven now?
You all look up as Laziz is saying this, and Laziz, you see the same scenario you were in before.
Oh no, I'm still in my nightmare. And I just close my eyes and I pinch myself.
As this happens, all the voices that have been speaking throughout this entire period quiet down. And you see a rush of images just appear all around you of various people. You see the Condor Aarakocra. You see a Potu Aarakocra. You see an Owl Aarakocra. You see the young child again. You see an older version of the child you didn't meet. You see Azar. And they all just smile at you. And in various tongues, various languages, they look at you all and they say, thank you. The gateway opens, light pouring through it all, energy enveloping you all. And you find yourselves awakening in your homes, the taverns, the inns, wherever you happened to rest before this whole excursion began.
My
and
quartet.
with your quartet. In a less compromising position, we shall say. But as it happens, you think just for a moment, is that real? Did that happen? And you peer into each of you, to whatever hand you prefer to use, whether it's right or left, or if you're ambidextrous. You look into your hands, and right in the center of it, see just a very faint trace of a crystal shard embedded in the center of it. And you hear the faintest of songs played in your heads in the same language that Lizzie's managed to pick up earlier. And you know that while the fate of this creature, long left alone with memories of those it had lost and the pacts it had made to know a human emotion, you have freed it and all those who stuck with its memories in what you've done. And that is where we're going to end the one shot tonight.
Oh, that was so good.
I loved it.
That was great.
Thank you. That went in a lot of directions I was not expecting it to go, because we started to run out of time and I was like, I don't think I can make this the epic brawl I originally imagined it to be, but I'm okay with just tweaking this into something different. Because, yeah.
I almost died.
That was kind of,
I thought it would have been
almost.
it would have been really, really ironic for you to die when the villain like wasn't even fighting anymore.
Right.
Like I take most of the hits and then I die.
For the record, I was mad about that silence spell not working. I was like, okay, I'm going to inhibit the spellcasters and it doesn't work, but okay, never mind.
Counterspell.
Counterspell, the bane of every DM trying to use magic. But I want to thank everyone so much for running through this one shot. This is the first one I ever designed, and it's still got some shakiness with trying to make it fit in 3 hours because I had to cut a lot to make it work. But thank you for running through this with me, everyone. I'm going to go through the last little bit of the script so that we have that going. But to all of our viewers who've stayed up to watch this, thank you so much for joining us for this. This has been a really awesome, spookier, weird, and just like what is going on to feelsy kind of one shot that I wanted to try out with the group, just so more folks could see this is the other side of my DMing style.
It was great. Thank you so much.
Yes, fantastic. Thank you for leading us.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for getting immersed in it, enjoying the humor of it, the weirdness of it, and just so many different things. And just thank you so much to everyone. So because we are reaching the end of our time, we've gone over a little bit, but thank you so much to the channel letting us have. I'm going to let everyone go around and introduce themselves. If you want to drop any links into the chat for your the projects you're doing right now, or just brag about how awesome you are and all the things that you do. Do that right now. This is the time to do that. Let's start in a different order than we did before. Our lovely and wonderful Christina / Heliodoro, if you'd like to take it away. So anything, projects you're involved with or links you want to share with the chat that we can spam right now.
No, actually, but I really enjoyed it. It was lots of fun.
Thank you so much. I'm going to go over to our own wonderful Perry / Lily.
Hello, I am Lily, and I am at Elise on Life on Twitter. I'm the scribe here on Twitch, but I don't really stream on Twitch yet. I do, however, take part in a Star Wars live play podcast called Misfits of Space.
That is amazing. Must find more things like that to watch because that sounds so great and listen to and all that. But thank you for that. our fantastic Elicor, who has been done with the entire scenario, the entire run, and has been the sole, must keep everyone alive person.
It's great.
Rochelle.
Oh, this was definitely Elicor's thing. I'm Rochelle. I'm at the Dragon Gem on Twitter. I stream Magic the Gathering Arena on Twitch every Sunday at 4:30 Mountain Time. So come by and hang out and chat.
Fantastic. And last but not least, our own fantastic bard who nearly died at the end with one bad roll you really didn't want to have.
Yeah, so I'm Miriam. I am currently writing Surzamine, which is a South Asian 5e campaign setting. In fact, I will be running that next week. 3v with the lovely players, so tune into that. In addition, I have a Patreon, I'll put the link, and I am also releasing my first episode of my podcast, which is also set in the same world, called The Musafirs, and I'll also have the link for the website in chat right now.
I am also trying to do the self-promotion thing in this moment and getting my computer to log me back into my Patreon, because I cleared my cookies because I was trying to be responsible, but never mind. It's asking me to do the computer, like not a computer thing to like click the images, and I don't have time. But last but not least, hi, I'm Angela. I'm at Phoenix24Fem on Twitter. I do a podcast with my partner about relationships called Queerly Yours. We talk about a bunch of different things as a polyamorous couple who are both trans, mixed race couple as well. We talk about a lot of things. Our latest episode that's going to come up, I believe, on Monday is literally us playing through a tabletop role-playing game my partner designed. So that's a fun episode to look forward to. And also, I am a poet and writer. I've done essays for the fantastic online QT-PoC creative-oriented publication, Art for Ourselves. Have to shout them out. And also, I am a poet who has recently gotten some national press because I have a poem video collaboration done with the state poet from Seattle that is up on the Rooted in Rights page. So I do a lot of things, and potentially in this future, there's going to be a PoC campaign that I'm going to be running. Not too many details on that just yet, but we're working on things. And it will be one of 3 campaigns I will be running in a homebrew world that I have made. So yeah, I do a lot of things on the interwebs. But so, not take up too much more time. I want to thank all the followers who came into chat, the subbing, hosting, and the raids that we happened. We got raided by someone with, I think, 7 or 8 other people, or just folks who are being awesome and horribly, horribly punny as people in chat can be in this community. And
sorry,
as a reminder,
not sorry.
Never be sorry, but always be sorry for puns. It's a bit of a, you do both, but remind everyone to join the Discord. If you can, support us on Patreon, and that we also have amazing merch as well. Be certain to tune in and check out all of those different things. As Miriam had indicated before, we are going to have another one. Was it 3E or 5E that you said? For 5E. The Surzamine? 5E next 5E. Week? Next week. And that will be also, I'm certain, a fantastic game because Mariam is going to be DMing it. You've already seen them as a player. Now you get to see them as a DM if you haven't already for their previous one on Orchestral Treble. And as we sign off, we are going to be rating Magic and Modifiers channel shortly. So, as always, thank you to the wonderful players for making this game as fantastic as it can be. Thank you for giving me this chance to DM for all of you. And I look forward to more fantastic, ridiculous, spooky, weird, out there one-shots and just shows coming out from this vibrant, visible, and victorious community. I love you all. Take care, and goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
So much.
Bye.